Welcome everyone to the Archon Team League Championships. We're on to Phase 2. This is going to be the last match of Phase 2, which should be kind of exciting. With me today is Dog. I don't think we've ever casted together. How are you doing, man?
I think we have. I'm pretty good. Woke up a little refreshed, had some coffee, ready to watch some good Hearthstone.
Yeah, gotta get some coffee, right? Started the day off. So did you watch the games that happened yesterday, or were you not following those like super
Uh,
closely?
I watched some of them. They're
All
pretty
right.
good. A couple wonky decks. We had the Paladin with Secrets and Eloise's weird Warlock with Shield Bearer or something. That was a
Shield
little
Bearer and
strange.
Fist of Jaraxxus, yeah, the whole discard shenanigan. Like no Tiny Knights of Evil and Succubus, but it was pretty unusual. Although they did move on, so it's gonna be kind of interesting to see what they bring for the live finale. Now Nihilum yesterday lost, so they're gonna have to go through the crucible of beating another team yet to have a chance to get to the live finale, and that team is gonna be Forsenboys, which they did win yesterday against Team Archon, who got knocked out of the event. So going forward, they're still stuck with the same decks today. Then they'll be able to change them for the last phase, obviously. So we already know what those decks are that they're playing today. It's going to be a little interesting to see how they, pan out because all those players have been adapting some of their strategies based on new TGT cards, and it's not always been optimized just yet, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole metagame is a bit in flux.
The interesting thing about this part right now, though, is the players couldn't change their decks, right?
Yep.
So I'm sure what they did is they just watched the VODs, they made the lists, they copied every single card. So everyone's going to know everyone's deck. And it'll be interesting how they approach the matchups and what they want to put in first, what they think they're favored against, things like that.
Yeah, so when you have perfect information, it's easier to navigate, your matches, obviously. So, guys, before we move on with the actual game itself, we'll be showing you a recap of what's happened so far in the league. So, if you guys haven't really followed everything, you'll get a chance to get maybe some of the highlights. Prepare for the Patron Warriors. We'll be right back after the video. Enjoy. Is the Doom Guard.
There
And-
it
Like 6-0, he did react. He was pretty
Almost.
focused.
Yeah.
Attacking to something might matter. And turns out he just wants to go face and is that. Oh my god, the blowout there.
Oh, so well. He played it. Yeah. We saw no win condition for him anymore, and he made.
He's like out of steam, and he has Hellfire Healbot next turn.
Oh, don't
Wow! Oh my god, the top decks are real.
worry. Look at that RD.
This is a silly day.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is just, I don't know.
It's like, can we get like Shia LaBeouf on a green screen saying that? And...
Front.
Oh, there it is! There's the reaction!
Yeah, you're right. That could have actually.
So he's hoping for the concede. He's agonizing Trump. Well played. Well played.
Yeah, like you are.
That's it.
And Kiara's gonna concede it, and Value
Triple
Town
bench.
goes for the crazy reverse sweep. Alex has to die.
No way. We already saw one Doomsayer today. Not possible.
Okay. Oh my god!
They're not.
It's just barely short, right? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. That's gotta be hard.
Oh, no matter what. The thing is, if the Doom Guard comes out, you're forcing Shadow Word Death, in which case Cabal is a bit less.
Which is fine.
It's
You
a
have
bit
Doc-
of a misplay. Yeah. Missed one
Exactly.
damage. He could have traded the abusive first, because he's trading anyway.
Yeah, you got it.
Actually, no, he healed a minion, so if it hit for 6.
Ooh!
Only needs an abusive.
Oh, man.
He's one off.
One down.
Oh, and that one miss damage actually cost him the game.
Yeah. All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, before we move onwards, a quick shout out to our partners from alphadraft.com, the esports fantasy league. If you want to check them out, obviously alphadraft.com, you have a chance to get a share of the $300,000 they give away each week, and they can match your initial deposit by up to $250. It's not too bad. There's also Amazon App Store, which is doing a giveaway for 50% discount on card packs. So give it a shot. teamarchon.com/Amazon or amazon.com/Hearthstone. Now that this is out of the way, do you have any thoughts about the current format? That we're going forward into this, like the best of 11, that's been, I guess, standard in the league so far. Do you think it's going to be like higher pressure going to live finals, knowing that you have to depend on your team, and the stakes are really high. I mean, you're playing in the event, so
Yeah, I don't know. Most of the time when I lose, I'm more like upset for myself because I lost for my team. Like I'm not.
okay.
It's more pressure because there's a team aspect to it. I don't really like. I care if I lose, obviously, but it's added pressure that I have a team. As for this format, I don't know. I've played this format for like I guess the entire league or whatever, and I'm still not used to it. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a single-player game, and you're having to depend on other players, and they depend on you for their performance overall. So this is phase 2. Phase 1's already been done. We had the round robin with every single team facing off against each other. We've had match 1 of phase 2 with Team Archon versus Tempo Storm to decide who would move on, and then Tempo Storm is going to make it to the live finale. The current standings show that Cloud9 and Value Town, and that includes you, Dog,
Yes.
are pretty safe, for the live finale spots. But there's still a chance that Nihilum can make it there, or Forsenboys. Tempo Storm is guaranteed. Team Archon is actually out, so depending, these standings don't reflect who's going to make it to the live finale. Team Archon was eliminated yesterday. So if Nihilum makes it through, they're going to have a really sick culmination to a crazy roller coaster ride they've been running through, going from the top of the standings, I think, down to the bottom. And then
they've been top like the entire season. It'd be kind of a shame if they didn't make it.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to take it if they don't. And the worst feeling must be if they win today and they go to the live finale and they finish 4th place. That's going to feel horrible, I think. All right, so looking at the lineups here from the Nihilum and Forsenboys, same decks as yesterday. Live Coach playing a Control Paladin and a Patron Warrior. RDU.
I think he's playing Control Warrior, right? I think that was the switch.
Was that him playing Control Warrior yesterday?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, sure, maybe. See, you say you didn't follow the games, but if
figure
you...
it out.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he did. We'll see.
All right.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
So we got RDU on
that,
Shaman with mech, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Can it be anything but mech? Really, these days? Like,
I mean,
is it ever?
TGT came out, got new stuff. Can avoid the cancer stuff.
All right, so you could imagine somebody bringing like a totem deck to a tournament. I mean, I think there's definitely an archetype lurking there, right? But the thing is, we were talking about this with RDU yesterday, and it turns out his thoughts on the matter basically go along the lines of, I'm going to play Mech Shaman, and I'm going to put Tuskar Totemic in. So it's a little disheartening.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's not going to help you top deck lethal. A little totemic. Yeah.
It's a pretty good card. I mean, it's almost too high variance to be to be real. Sometimes, Totem Golem comes out on that fateful turn. All right, so Skaka playing Warrior versus the Hunter from RDU. That favors the Warrior quite by quite a lot, I'd say, right?
Yeah, it's really favored if you're running just straight face Hunter. Like Patron wins that matchup so many times, like 80%, or I don't know. I'm just making up a really high percentage there, but yeah. So they usually win that matchup. Hybrid's a little harder, but it's still fairly easy. Or not easy, but still favored.
Do you have an analyst? Like, have you mapped out all the matchups in Value Town? Like, I know you guys have been being quite. You've been doing super well, honestly. It's kind of like the unexpected, no pun intended, underdogs just wrecking through the tournament.
I think Trump has a spreadsheet, and he consults the spreadsheet, and then he linked the spreadsheet, and it was just like a bunch of percentages based on all the tournament results, And then he was just like, so we should go with this statistically. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna not play Rogue Trump. So yeah.
So that's the
have a-
reason we saw
yeah, he's-
Rogue pretty
he's
much
the
every
analyst.
single week.
Exactly,
Okay.
but you know, we can go with our gut feeling.
Speaking of Rogue, this game's kind of slow, so I have a question. Do you think TGT did anything good for Rogue at all?
Well, it changed the way other people build their decks, so it's a little slower, and Rogue has a little more time to react. They also aren't playing cards that are very like aggressive and do much. They're playing slow cards like dragons, so stat becomes a lot more relevant. So, in the fact that the way people are building decks, it helped Rogue a lot. The actual cards that were added did not help Rogue at all. I would build Rogue the exact same way I did prior to TGT.
All right. Well, hopefully we see some innovations on that front in the near future. But I think a lot of people would tend to agree. All right. So Skaka starting with a removal heavy hand, no weapons, of course. But when you've got an unstable ghoul, that's already a pretty sick start against a hunter. You're usually very comfortable, and double slam also can carry him for a little longer.
Yeah, he pointed out that ghoul against the leopard, which is pretty good. And the fact that he had the slam to get the freezing trap on that is so huge because you don't want that ghoul to be frozen because it's like not a good unit to get frozen, obviously, and you don't really want to waste a kill command or a quick shot on it. It's a bad situation for the hunter, and it was. Yeah, it was well
It's
played
just
by
worse
Osaka.
right now. Yeah, everything. Like Osaka puts his opponent in a position where there's really no answer here but a bow. And a bow feels kind of awful because the ghoul already took what it wanted to take, which is that one-drop Leper Gnome. So even if you do
Exactly.
play the bow, you're just wasting a charge on a minion that the warrior doesn't need anymore. And can you afford?
To
Can you
kill command
afford
that?
this?
Or like quick shot it? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, can you afford the freezing trap being eaten by it as well, right?
What are you expecting next turn? You're expecting a frothing?
An acolyte, or a
An acolyte
Frothing?
or a frothing, yeah. So it looks like he wants that frozen, and I kind of agree with that. I'm not sure if I agree with using the kill command over the quick shot, but I think it's fine.
By the way, you're right. That warrior was the warrior without Grom and Alex Straza that Live Coach was playing yesterday.
He
Can't
doesn't
believe I
run
forgot
Braum and
that.
Alex Straza? What?
Don't ask me. I am not the one who made the deck. It was very surprising to me. But
I saw
really
a zombie
fun to
chow. I remember that.
No, you saw it. No, you didn't see that. You saw the one drop 1/2 that was
Oh,
supposed to be.
that was in the Paladin deck. That was the
Right.
the Inspire. Yeah.
So
Alright,
he
so
likes to run those.
All right. I think if a 3 attack minion comes out, then Artie's in an okay spot. Wait, that's 3 damage to
This
his hero power? That's pretty cool.
This is hell. All right, just
even-
discard True Heart in the form of a 2-drop. RDU is pretty happy about that one. Knows that he kind of baited a slam out of his opponent as a result of this coming out. You can't feed a Dread Corsair into it, and that's a pretty good top deck for RDU.
I wonder if he's running high mains. He might have cut the high main for a little lower curve because I think he was running chargers, and it could be hybrid, but you don't really run hybrid with Argent Squires.
And it's an interesting take on the 1/1s really help a lot because you're running the abusive. You know, it's not a card you see put in every single hunter deck, but the people that do include the Ardent Squire tend to get pretty good success with it just because abusive lets you trade up so nicely against decks, say like Patron Warrior, where you can remove an Armor Smith a little earlier. You can deal with Acolytes of Pain nicely. Yeah, like this Dread Corsair is just going down, and you're not
You just
losing.
dump
the
your
board.
hands and hope he doesn't
Yeah.
have a whirlwind.
I think you have a point because if you just cycle everything, you should.
You
be
can
fine.
let a 1/1 live if you do this.
Yeah, you can just do everything. The question is there a reason to just maybe hero power instead, or is that not worth
It
it?
depends how high your curve is. If you think that you might draw into a high main or something, then you shouldn't hero power. If you're running shredders, high mains, things like that, you're not going to be able to dump your hands every turn. So hero power becomes irrelevant, or not irrelevant, but you want to cycle into the cards that help you earlier.
Yeah, it makes sense. So Skaka's in a bit of an awkward position because he can remove the board all right, but he can't draw anymore. And unless he can, throw back the pressure the hunter's way, he's the one who's going to start falling behind a little bit.
How do you feel about Emperor and Execute?
Over the Deathbite, yeah, I think you're forcing your opponent to. either go all in on your face or spend a lot of resources removing the 5/5, depending.
The thing is that the Emperor doesn't really do anything aside from the body because
it's a
he has one
freezing.
card in hand, and there is a freezing. Yes.
Yeah, maybe Deathbite Execute Armor Up is better, because you kind of need the extra health going forward if you expect this to last long, and getting that Whirlwind effect off of the Deathbite should probably be enough to clean up the board next turn. Seems like that would be the way to go.
Plus, you could draw into a Patron, Acolyte, anything like that. So I do like this.
Yeah, you're right, because the moment you find another, even a Battle Rage would be fine. Because you can play Emperor and then
Looks like
Battle
he
Rage it, if you'd like.
Thinks that Execute is worth more than 4 HP.
That's interesting. Against a Hunter, I value my HP a lot.
It's a good card. It's time to smork.
When is it not, though? That's the question, right? Time to smork.
Hey, we can't make fun of the Hunter. There's only one place to attack.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. Yeah, but that's the good, because he can't misplay. There can't be a misplay if there's no minions on the board. RDU is thinking...
He's not sure if he wants to commit the Animal Companion to board because it gets cleared by the Deathbite, so he loses all board immediately if he does play it. And if he gets a Misha, it doesn't really do that much. It pushes 4 damage. If he gets a Hufford, he's rewarded a lot. If he gets a Leok, he's kind of rewarded.
Well, Leok is basically the same as Misha, because the warrior takes 2 from the Leok and 3 from the board, so it kind of adds up to 1 extra damage, which is 5 basically.
It's like he values the unit more than the damage possibility.
I kind of like this because it's forcing the warrior to deal with another wave of incoming damage afterwards. That's going to be a little painful, though.
Yeah, that's like not really what you want to be deathbiting. You
Push the face and double drop.
I think you need to be armoring, but at the same time, you need board to deal with whatever he plays.
Yeah, the thing about the Unstable Ghoul is that it can also eat up the Freezing Trap instead of your Emperor, but if you feel like you need the health, then using the armor up and delaying the Ghoul might be just perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Creeper.
So, Oskaka did see 1 kill command, right? So he can't be that afraid of...
dying.
Like getting... Yeah,
Just straight
dying
up.
just yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a slow grind if the Hunter gets the game, I think.
Do you know if he was running any Wolf Riders or anything? Just like aggression? Because like he had a bunch of early game, like the Squire and stuff, but I'm not actually sure if I saw any Chargers ever.
He might have decided to keep the Arcane Golems because they're pushing more effective
that's
damage
right,
per
that's right.
slot, so maybe he doesn't run the Wolf Riders on top.
It's actually a
man.
really good draw, the Acolyte.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
gonna allow him to maybe cycle further. Not a bad pickup for RDU either, though.
Yeah, it's just a solid draw. You have to go face here and shoot. I think the Patron is probably going to win this game.
Yeah, it all depends on whether or not he's able to swing back, because that Freezing Trap is going to delay him a little bit. That Execute, however, helps quite a lot, and the trade on Lotheb is pretty obvious. Oh, wow. Okay.
You can just bounce back your Acolyte, execute trade, play your
Would you ever consider executing Misha and then bouncing back Emperor, attacking
And
into
then
Lotheb with the
executing.
yeah, and then executing for another 6?
It's a possibility. I think you just need to armor though. It's way too valuable. I might consider replaying the Acolyte as opposed to the Frothing right here. I like the Frothing more, but
Okay, so just
Yeah.
trying to get more card draw to extend your stay.
yeah. But
Makes
this
sense.
is good. I like this a lot. You can just armor for the execute trade. It's a 1-1 against a Frothing. You're in a good
Yeah.
position. This draw right here is really, really important for RDU. You need something good, like a Highmane, even a Shredder. A weapon would be okay. That is,
Double Creeper, that's not what he wants to see.
Look at his
His
face.
face
Oh.
is telling a story.
Salt Boys, so sad.
Although, honestly, like, those 1-1s without a Whirlwind can't be cleared, so it looks ridiculous here, but RDU is going to be able to, like, wear down his opponent a little bit of damage at a time as long as Oskaka doesn't pick up a clear.
I think you just play that.
Yeah, play everything.
Play it. Play the Pain, run it into a 1-2. The 1-2, that way you draw, and then just go face at the Frothing and armor. Because if you draw into
Yeah.
a Patron, you win instantly. because the frothing will build up. I mean, the thing is, the amount of pressure RDU has is only 2, so that's not very much as opposed to like.
Well,
a
it's
frothing.
countered by the hero power basically. Like,
Yeah.
there's if it was another class, you know, Patron would of course, like the warrior wouldn't live, but because you can just negate 2 damage every single turn, it's pretty easy. And this is what makes warriors so easy to navigate, I guess, against hunters, is that the inevitability of the hero power doesn't affect you as much. So you're really just fighting board against board. Not the best of
It's not a
pickups.
very
for
good
RD.
draw either. Yeah. Wait, did he not? He ran that into face. He didn't draw there. That's interesting.
Yeah, he did not attack into the 1/2 creeper, which
Probably would have tried to
was-
draw for like an armor smith or something. Maybe he'll draw right now. Because if he gets a
And-
whirlwind, he's in a better position. Looks like
If
he's
he gets a
looking for
whirlwind, he's in heaven.
or patron. Oh, that you
Here
can
comes
run
the
in.
whirlwinds.
I might have liked him running in that. No, this is fine.
All right, so what do you pop, if anything?
want-
Because I mean,
you
I'm
wanna
guessing
bounce
battle
back
rage
here.
hits, right?
Yeah, you want to bounce back your gnomish, I think. Well, he's gonna battle rage, but what is he looking for? Is he looking to lethal this turn?
He's looking for the whirlwind, most definitely.
Yeah, but like would double whirlwind be lethal or something? Because the way he's making these attacks makes it seem like
But I think if he whirlwinds once, he's pushing a lot of damage. I think he's pushing like upwards of another, what, 16, 17?
so you can just get armor this turn.
So if you push for 10 here, and you're on
I think
8
you have to
health,
get armor. I think it's too risky to push.
so you have to attack into a minion with the Armor Smith, and then you push for 12.
Yeah, see, now he's doing this. He messed up because now it's gonna get frozen. I think. Oh, he didn't attack. He ran out of time. That stinks. See if it bites him. Nope. Oh, RDU so mad.
This is why you run Wolf Riders, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
You can't smork with an Argent Squire. It improves your early game, but you can't get those mid game pushes.
At
And
least Elven Archer, man. I think. I mean, the whole point of this deck is to get bored early, and that's why it's running freezings and stuff like that. If it was a Smork Hunter, it'd be running explosives.
explosives, of course.
But he
yeah.
was more concerned about like aggro paladin, maybe zoo, fighting for board early. So this deck isn't really meant to beat patron.
No, obviously not. And the thing is, RD knows that he's in a really awful spot. The game is pretty much everything but lost at this point. With a board like this, Skaka can navigate just flawlessly. Like, there's nothing here for him to lose to. Even
RDU's
kill
complex
command.
have been really bad though. Like he drew creeper into squire. Like that's so bad.
Well, it happened to him yesterday. Like I think Nihilum yesterday had the worst streak of draws I have ever seen. I guess it compensated for the first day of the phase 2, where they got like the perfect draws, or at least their opponents didn't get any good draws. But RD is going to be having to play that hunter again. Forsenboys locks up the warrior from Oskaka.
Patron, yeah.
It's not really a big surprise. Usually you expect Patron to eventually get a win, so getting it early, I guess, is as good as getting it late.
Exactly.
So it's just a
not
matter
like
of
heart-
RDU coming back.
It's not a heartbreaking loss, I would say, just because like the hunter's probably gonna find a win. Patron warrior was pretty much gonna find a win against your lineup, I would say. So
Yep. Also, if you guys want to tweet #ATLC any thoughts on the Archon Team Championships, feel free to do so. They'll show up on screen during the the lineup. We're gonna be seeing your tweets. So looking at this lineup, I don't really know if anybody has a clear edge because there's no Warlock on the Nihilum side. It's a class that was very prevalent early in ATLC and somehow started being phased out. I mean, if it was Warlock, it wasn't Handlock anymore, and it still hasn't come back at all.
yeah, that's surprising to me. I would expect just Zoo to be really strong right now.
Yeah,
But I
seems
guess
to me-
Forsenboys don't generally bring Druid, so that's why they probably decided not to bring Zoo, and that's probably why they decided to bring Control Warrior. Because Control Warrior is countered by Druid, but it beats pretty much everything else. Zoo, pretty good against Druid, but they don't bring Druid, so it works out.
Yeah, so I mean, you're trying to target Druid with Zoo. Is there anything else that you're really trying to counter? Because I mean, Patron doesn't quite lose to it. It's one of the few aggro decks that will put pressure on Patron if they get a decent start. but it's not. I mean, okay, so here I have a question. What is actually, because we were talking with RDU yesterday about how Patron is able to keep aggro in check. You know, hyper aggressive decks, right? Like the hyper aggro hunter decks are being kept in check by Patron. But on the other hand, you have like tempo decks like Zoo that do very well against Patron. What is the best, tempo aggro deck to counter Patron at the moment? From your perspective, of course.
Tempo aggro decks to counter Patron?
Yeah.
Probably
Is that
like
even-
Mech Shaman, I guess.
Okay.
Does that count?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It perfectly does. It does.
I would say that's probably one of the best decks against Patron.
All right. Well, that's probably the what RD was making a reference to, because it's a bit tricky, I find, to find the perfect counter to Patron, just because it keeps so many decks in check by the way it's designed. That just
I would say it more keeps Face Hunter in check, just because of all the like AoEs it runs, and it can gain
Easy.
armor through Armor Smith. Yeah, and Face Hunter is like a pretty strong deck, but if Patron's around, you're just gonna lose that matchup. So it looks like we have Paladin against Warlock, and Forsen is running Handlock or Zoo, probably Zoo, right?
Forsen, yeah, he was running his Zoo yesterday. Got a sick streak of games with his Zoo at the very end there. A little misplay was made yesterday against his opponent, but he still ended up winning. So lucky for him, he's gonna have a chance to get to the live finale. Although you know what, Forsenboys was on the cusp of elimination too. I didn't mention that, but they are climbing back. This is of course a big game for both teams. But Forsenboys, if they can win this, they're gonna feel pretty happy because they were very low on the standings at the end there.
Yeah, they were doing pretty well in the very beginning of the league, but something in the middle kind of went wrong for them. Might have been RNG, might have been deck choices. I really have no idea, but they started to fall off. They're climbing back. If they win this, they're in the finals. It's just as good as being first or second in the league because you qualify. So it's really sick, especially against a team like Nihilum. Yeah.
So Zoo versus Paladin, the Paladin version from Life Coach we saw yesterday was running that Gadget Sand Jouster, the 1-mana 1/2 that hopes to win a joust to become a zombie chow. We were really surprised by that inclusion because even though you might win, let's assume you win 60% of the time, right? Like a really good and high estimate. Let's assume you run and you win most of the time. Is it ever worth it in control?
I think the idea behind it is the only time you really need a zombie chow like that is against aggro, and most of the time you're going to win the joust against aggro because they're running a low curve, and against control it doesn't heal them, so it's like better than the zombie chow in that aspect. Also, a thing not discussed too much is you actually reveal cards from your opponent's deck, so it's also how much you value that information, because you joust and you get to see a card, right? They get to see a card also, but maybe you don't care if they see your cards.
Yeah, maybe you're playing Control Paladin, you think your deck is already predictable, but you want to know what you're up against. If you pick up a Dreadsteed in that Warlock deck,
you know what's going down.
Yeah, you see that Doomsayer coming down, and then Dreadsteed following it up, and Welcome to Hell.
See a Twisting Nether.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Like if Varian Rin picks up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Twisting Nether make its appearance in a Warlock deck or another, like Control
with
Warlock.
Dreadsteed, you have 2 Dreadsteeds on board. Twisting Nether, Dreadsteed stay alive.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
You play the Spell Slinger from your opponent, and then you can get an Ancestral Spirit, and then you can get like triple Dreadsteed.
Life Coach looks young.
Yeah, I think he lost the beard, didn't he?
Yeah, it's probably the stress.
All right, let's see how Forsen deals with the RNG today. It really varies from day to day. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's much less fine. He's definitely on the snus right now. Needs to manage the stress.
This is a pretty good hand from Forsen. You generally want creepers. You want things that are things that can deal with the musters if they have them. And Life Coach has a really good hand as well. Double muster into consecrate, mini bot. Even Aldor is fine. I really like Life Coach's hand. It's really, really strong. He didn't get the 1-drop, obviously, but mini bot, muster, consecrate. It's going to be really hard for Forsen.
I think the hand from Life Coach is like what could change. Really good juggles. Very often that'll do it, and this is kind of why you need the muster, because if there's an implosion that comes up that'll already set up, you're going to be punished for it really hard.
Turn 1 rope.
Turn 1 rope, yeah, because he's thinking, if I go in mini bot, Do I want my musters faster? Do I want to keep coin for consecrate on turn
Yeah, he's
3?
considering like all the things. Like you have to plan like 3 or 4 turns in advance.
Ugh. Forsen is already tilting from the time it takes.
He
He's
is.
like, you gotta be kidding me, man. This can't be real. This is beautiful.
I wonder
Questions
if you
already.
mini bot here. You can't play muster.
Muster is too weak, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
if
Muster
you
is
go for muster, then your consecration is delayed and it still doesn't do much. So you really need to get some way to pop the creeper. And mini bot is probably the closest thing you've got when you follow it up with a muster for battle on turn 3.
God, Life Coach's hand is just sick though. It's
Amazing.
really, really strong, yeah. Forsen's got to learn to tab when he plays.
I mean, I don't know how people play Hearthstone without. If I don't have 5 other windows open, I can't play the game. I don't know how people. I don't know how people pull it off. I mean, it's crazy. Well, this is a pretty okay pickup for Forsen. It's a high threat minion in this case. It's gonna set up a nice implosion too if your opponent goes for an implosion.
I think he's gonna abusive his. Oh wow, he's not gonna abusive. He's just gonna go face.
I thought it was going to abusive the
Voidwalker, and if it hit, he'll trade.
Voidwalker to hit.
Then
Yeah,
go
exactly.
face. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's even better than this play though. It's subjective.
I mean,
I would
this
say.
is definitely weaker to consecration,
Yeah, but
you got implosion.
are you really scared of consecrate right now?
No, not so much. No, that's the thing. Like, it's weaker to consecration, but at the same time, if the consecration falls down now, then you have a better chance of establishing a future board. He's gonna go for the
trades
lucky
into
jump.
that. Oh my god, this consecrate. Okay, he's not gonna go all the way.
Well, consecration is still
muster.
amazing, though.
Do you consecrate here? Do you muster? Consecrate
No,
clears all but one. The thing is, Forsen's kind of okay with consecrate just because he has the implosion.
Yeah,
That's why he didn't pop the creeper.
I vote for muster.
I vote
Say yay.
for muster as well.
All right. Motion goes through. We muster. No.
He might be scared of like an Argus, because one play plays around the implosion, the other plays around the Argus. This plays around the implosion. But the thing is, if he Arguses, I feel like you can just true still, or you can consecrate as well and have the weapon to clear it.
Yeah, the muster
This
for
is
battle and the 1/1s and the consecration together should take care of a defensive Argus, but maybe he's afraid of taking too much damage in the process.
Yeah, you just have to
Double
implosion.
implosion. Okay. The good thing here is it can't fail.
Oh,
Nice job,
implosion.
Oh,
what he
this
gets
is
for-
beautiful.
It's the karma for BMing.
Yeah, you got it from yesterday, man. That BM was well. Then again, the Firebat did go
That's
for
true.
it.
Yeah, you have to return the favor. Exactly. It was
I get the
justified.
feeling Firebat was legitimately saying sorry, right? Like I get that vibe. Whenever Firebat goes for the BM, I'm like, he's actually
I don't know.
apologizing for Skillstone.
I don't know about that. And life coaches muster or implosion hit for 3 there. You got 3 little
2.
units.
Let's do it. Oh,
3.
it's 3.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. But this knife juggler into muster, Forsen's gonna be so mad. Oh my goodness.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh, and a Tuskar Jouster just to seal up the health total to a very comfortable position. Forsen thinks, oh, I'm gonna have 4 minions next turn, right? Like they can play Gormok after top decking a 2-drop. Nope. Definitely not happening. Also, by the way, what do you think of Gormok? I thought the card was going to be super sick, but I haven't really been impressed by it so far trying it out. It's really hard to set up.
I thought it would be really bad, but it has gotten a little more useful.
Okay, so you thought it was going to be worse, so you were impressed, and I thought the
I
exact
was a little more
opposite.
impressed, yeah.
Interesting.
Double equality in life coach's stuff.
Forsen's face is telling the story of his woes. That's an okay pickup, I guess. Aside from the fact that Aldor Peacekeeper deals with it, it's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah, Forsen's not gonna be too happy about this. I think True Silver might just be better here.
Poor Forsen. Nothing's going to right this game.
Man. And both implosions are gone, so you don't really have a very good comeback potential, because that's what like Knife Juggler implosion or something like that is usually how you get board back a zoo. But right now the only thing he can really do is like hope for an egg or something to PO into trading.
Yeah, and then you have to also top deck if you like the Doomguard top decks could still help you come back in the game. From your perspective, of course, but when you see Life Coach's hand from the caster side, it's much easier to see that he won't really have too much trouble with it. Between Aldor, Equalities, and health restoration, usually he's going to be very comfortable no matter what hits. Alright, so he's opting for the Aldor Peacekeeper play. He was hoping for a juggle there, I think, to get a good trade. Does he just trade into it because he doesn't want to see a Defendo Argus?
Might. I'm not sure. Looks like he's going to. To be fair, Life Coach's hand was like ridiculously good against Zoo. I don't think there was anything Forsen could have done. Maybe not rolled a 2 on that implosion. That would have helped.
Right.
Oh man. Feels bad, man. Yeah.
Forsen just concedes. I mean, he knows at this point there's no way for him. Like, the whiplash mechanic's just not there, right? When Implosion's gone, Knife Juggler Implosion is one of the best ways to handle some kind of mid-game Silverhand Recruit heavy board, and that just was already gone, so...
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate that he rolled the 2 there, and I don't know, he even set up for like a pretty good like bait Consecrate into like where he could play the Implosion, but he kind of got punished by Knife Juggler Muster. Muster into Knife Juggler Muster when your board is all 1/1s is kind of hard to deal with, I would say.
But it was a really good win for Life Coach, though, because his Paladin had a little bit of trouble when we started play, yesterday. So it's nice to see that his Paladin is already out of the way. Nihilum must be feeling pretty good about this, because that Paladin wasn't exactly... I mean, that 1-2 that you mentioned had some potential against control. It really backfired hard yesterday. Like, it could have won the game against Druid had it been a Zombie Chow. It's kind of
actually
like a
agree
weird
that
gamble.
That win was really important, the Paladin getting out, because I feel like Hunter would beat it. I feel like Shaman would probably beat it. Aggro Paladin maybe beat it. Freeze Mage is going to beat it.
Yeah, you're right. I think Aggro Pally... what do you think about Aggro Pally versus the control side of Paladin? Because they tend to both play the earlier... Like, they both play some of the early game, but the Paladin can stabilize maybe a bit better. It's just that if you're not running Wild Pyros, which just don't exist anymore in control Pally, even nowadays, it's really hard to get rid of all the Divine Shields. It's kind of like the Warrior Syndrome, where
you just need Muster, you need Knife Juggler, and you need Consecrate if you're the control Paladin, but... The Aggro Paladin, I don't know. The qualities aren't going to do anything if all your creatures are 1 HP anyways, and you can just smork them and try to get a Divine Favor. But that matchup won't be happening. I wonder what Nihilum will go with next. It's 1-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to see the Shaman from RDU eventually. It's one of the decks that we haven't really seen too much of, so... Seeing what he plays, he says he plays Mech Shaman with Tuskar Totemic. I wonder how... I mean, he seems to agree that was the line of Shaman deck building at the moment that was the most consistent until we see new decks crop up. I wonder if they're working on... Because a lot of people are trying to make Shaman work that isn't Mech, right? Like trying to go back to the mid-range style, maybe a control style, something along those lines. And at the moment, nothing has quite come up that is... better than Mech Shaman, right? There's a lot of good variants with the Thunderblood Valiant, which is doing amazing.
Yeah.
But when you don't curve, that deck still falls behind a lot of the time.
Exactly. I think it's a decent deck. I would say it's about on par with Control Paladin.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Life Coach
Tier 1.5, Tier 2, I guess.
Exactly.
Somewhere around those lines.
That's like a perfect rating for it, I would say. So we got Hunter versus Hunter.
Yeah. And the Argent Squire in starting hand for RDU is definitely a good pickup against... in this matchup, it's going to help you get a 2-for-1 out of almost no investment, really.
Yeah, with Glaive Zuka, that's ridiculous. Did he keep a Freezing Trap? That's interesting. Guess he wanted to freeze like a Mad Scientist or something, because he's expecting a Coin Creeper or Coin Mad Scientist here. Huh. I would have never thought he would keep a Freezing Trap.
I mean, I guess if you're trying to race for damage, getting that temple lead is basically going to snowball. Like, Freezing Trap is basically deal 4 damage to your opponent.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's what it's doing right now, right? That's interesting. Huh.
Is RDU going to return the favor? That's what we have to know right now.
Freezing.
You want to play that game?
I think play Zuka, and you're not too unhappy about your 1/1 getting frozen.
That's not a big investment. It's just that you're going to be face tanking that Leopardome, and that's 4 damage. Like, so far, this Leopardome has dealt 6, and that's a lot of damage output.
That's a good freezing trap. Wow, that's a very good top deck.
Yeah, I was going to say, Knife Juggler is kind of weak because of the fact... Oh, the punish.
Summon Misha? Nope.
Trade? Nope. Oh, face?
And Chalky's good at Hunter.
Chalky's the best Hunter player I've ever seen. He always gets the Huffers. Although, it seems like recently, the Huffer is to Hunters what Fiery War Axe is to Warriors these days. Nobody misses their War Axe. Yeah, it's incredible. In this tournament so far, it's been amazing.
I like this play from RDU. I might have liked the Creeper more than the Freezing Chap, but I guess he's anticipating the Shredder, which, I mean, Chalky has, so that's very good.
Yeah, but I think if Chalky knows that, he's going to definitely just drop the Juggler in the Abusive, hope to trigger the trap with the Abusive Sergeant, and then play maybe a Lotheb on curve. So that's going to be
looks like that's
decent follow-up. Yeah, the weak part of this play, I guess, is the fact that you're not really getting any damage in this turn, but the fact that the opponent will be face tanking the Juggler is effectively giving you 3 damage, if that's going to happen. He's not face tanking it, he's going to face tank the...
Yeah, because it's going to get frozen anyways.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, you don't mind taking 2 instead of 3, since nobody's going to replay a Juggler for 4 mana. Not anytime soon.
Really crazy. So he ended up doing that 1 extra damage anyways through the juggle, but this Lotheb is going to go uncontested. Oh, that's a really big pickup if he hits the juggle, because now he doesn't have to take 5. Lotheb was going to connect for 5 there, almost like for sure, but
believe me, he's going to get a Wrath Guard. Oh, the nightmare.
He needs to hit 1 juggle. There we go. All right, let's got it.
Here comes the Wrath Guard. No, it's actually a great card.
Yeah,
what a sick pickup. And RDU now sees a potential win. It looked everything but lost when you're so far behind on health in a race situation. Wow, RDU is picking this up. Alright, not a bad card to find.
I think...
Do you make trades at all here, or do you just push?
I think you might want to smork.
I'm thinking when you're so far behind, you have to just hope it doesn't have
You can kill the Creeper, so you can protect your Divine Shield, and I'm not opposed to that.
And then you pop the Creeper on the... the Shredder, sorry. But then Unleash becomes more punishing, right?
I don't know if I would do this. This is... Yeah, I'm not sure if Chalky's even running Unleash, and I think RDU might know that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Shredder job, I would say.
Chalky's really good at Hunter. I thought he was just good, but he's really good.
Is he running Explosive? If he's running Explosive, that's like insane. I don't know. I feel like that was a lot of wasted damage.
Well, if he runs Explosive, in this case, it might let 3 minions live, right?
Ooh, freezing.
That's...
I think they're running very similar lists.
Looks like it. Freezing, Smork.
Hybrid without high mains or something? I don't think I've seen a high main. Maybe Chalky has one.
I haven't seen it so far, so there's a good chance that neither player plays it. I mean, it's a type of card that really curves the deck up, and the Argent Squires give you that extra trading potential, and in a metagame that's riddled with Divine Shield Paladin, the aggro Pally list, I think there's a good argument to be made for running the Squires. Because the high mains basically do nothing, right? Like, you're already dead by the time that comes out. Wow. Alright. Pretty convincing.
Juggle here.
Nice job.
Yeah. If you know he's not running Unleash, that trade's fine. And it looks like RDU does. Because, I mean, they've played, what, over 3 games each with their decks, at least?
Yeah.
So, they should know the decks card for card.
Not what Chalky was looking for, and I think this is a lost game for him at this point.
Is there enough damage on board?
He can't kill Leok. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That alone is enough to be a problem, because even if you kill the juggler and you kill the Anoyotron and you hit hero power for 2, how do you find an extra 14 damage or 11 since you have the bow? Like 11 from a single top deck? That's looking very unlikely. Maybe like quick shot into quick shot.
Yeah, no, there's like no way. I don't think.
So he's just gonna have to smork it to face and hope he
Gonna
picks up the
smork and hope
unleash.
he, yeah. I don't even think he runs unleash. I think he's just hoping to top deck like double quick shot into like Leroy or something. I mean, it's not unreasonable. He just needs one quick shot into a arcane golem or something. So he's playing this out. This is
that's
gonna
be
seal the
I
game
think.
regardless, because if it's a taunt, it's like enough, right?
Yeah. Leok and Huffer were guaranteed lethal. I think he still has it though, or maybe he's just like one off. He's gonna be one off. Wow. Interesting. And now even Unleash doesn't do it.
Yeah.
That was a really well piloted deck by like the piloted game by RDU. I thought like the line of play that we saw with the freezing trap, where he decided to coin it out to regain the
That was
tempo, knowing
that was
that.
Chalky, I believe. Chalky played the freezing trap. He kept it in his opening hand. He had Leper Gnome freezing trap.
No, that was
The
first
coin.
freezing.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
other
second one. Yeah. Okay, instead of playing the creeper
Yes.
to prevent the shredder. That was a good play. I agree. That was interesting. A lot of people would have played creeper there, and then the guy would have played shredder, and then he would have just lost probably. So, good play.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's not every day that I find a Hunter Mirror match super interesting. I'll be honest with you, it's one of the matches that I like. Hunter Mirror match is interesting. Hunter matches I find sometimes a little dull on the hyper aggressive side, because you kind of see everything kind of snowball. But I thought RDU was lost for sure there. I thought for the most
Yeah.
part that was game. But the Anoyotron is again his saving grace, right? Like there's only one other taunt, two other taunts: Frostwolf Grunt and Unstable Ghoul. Unstable Ghoul would have wrecked his board, which would have been a problem. And the Frostwolf Grunt would have done very little in the face of repeated damage input. So
Yeah, I think it was that knife juggler to pick up on the Lotheb turn. He had no way to deal with Lotheb. He was at like 17 HP. Picked up a knife juggler, and then he like just traded in his shredder and was able to kill the Lotheb, which is really important. Otherwise, he would have been at like 12 plus hero power 10. He would have been dead in like a few turns. And the Anoyotron coupled with that was pretty insane.
yeah, so Shaki may always get the Huffers, but RDU gets the good Shredders. I guess that ends up mattering a bit more. There's the Druid on Thais' side, Darnassus Aspirant. We've been talking about this a bit. I know you're a big Druid aficionado from back in the days. How excited are you to playing Druid going forward in TGT?
I don't like it.
You don't like it anymore? That's
Yeah,
it?
I don't like it anymore. I'm done with that class.
Okay, that's it. You're just going to be playing Rogue for the rest of your days?
Exactly.
All right.
I don't know. Darnassus Aspirant or whatever. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I don't think it's as good as most people are leading on. Wild Growth seems just straight up better. It almost always dies on turn 2, and if you're fighting for board, it's only a 2/3. So I don't know. I'd much rather have a Wild Growth in many cases. You can run it as another ramp card, I would say, but I'm not sure how much I like it as just
So you're not sure how
Growth.
good it is to have 4 Wild Growths in your deck.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah.
It's maybe just a bit too much. So just 2 Wild Growths would be more than enough to ramp.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. That's probably the
2
first
Wild Growths
dissenting
and
opinion I've heard.
Yeah, 2 Wild Growths and a Darnassus is probably one of the better ways to go about it. So Warrior versus Hunter, and this is Control Warrior with Zombie Chow, right?
Right. That's the most anti-aggro tech warrior I think I've seen in a long time. There's no Alex, no Grom. It's even more defensive than you might think. There's an Ystera, which is very slow, so I guess ultimately it's not necessarily a good card to have, because you can't burst the Hunter down at the end of the game, but you should be able to stabilize for a very long time. I know he's running 1 Bash, which is an incredible card, I think, in Control Warrior, especially if you're trying to target those, mid-range, aggressive decks, and I think Hunter from Shocky is going to suffer from that Bash sometime during the game.
Yeah, it's going to come down to early draws for Life Coach, so he can definitely whiff, and Chalky can take the board early and just do too much damage to him. But we'll see. He's running Bash also, that's right. Oh my goodness.
I love the Bash. There's no way you're throwing that back if you're Life Coach, knowing what Shogi's playing. It's such a... So, a lot of people didn't really like that card too much at first, but I think after you've played it once or twice, you actually fall in love with it. Because it's reaching... Like, it's basically your Safeguard Fire War Axe. If things go super wrong, you can still kill that minion and recover the health, so you're creating like a 6 health differential, sometimes 9, because of repeated damage potential. Pretty strong card.
So, do you play Coin Scientist here? And
Juggler
test
is
for the
weak to War Axe. Yeah, I was gonna say you have to
Yeah.
bait the War Axe hit with Mad
So
Scientist.
he figures if he has War Axe, he has to play the 2-drop into 2-drop anyways. But this just allows him from like going Mad Scientist into maybe drawing a Creeper.
Life Coach picks up the second Armor Smith, so that's pretty solid. If you're looking at this from a defensive perspective, I don't think Life Coach can actually lose enough health to be threatened anytime soon. Like there's no Iron Beak Owl in Shockey's hand. The bow is gonna be great here though. Like that's the closest to a great pickup as he could have had.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
He's gonna get himself like another freezing trap. Wow. Zombie Chow.
Job's done.
All right.
Life Coach has one of the better hands that I've seen, I think, against a situation where you're trying to control the board against some type of aggressive deck. But Shockey picked up the bow, so that's going to allow him to get back on the board in some way.
That bow is a really important pickup. I don't expect Life Coach to be attacking into that anytime soon, like proccing the trap anytime soon. Might as well just play the second Armor Smith, armor up, have a good time with your armor gain on the board.
What now?
Do you just play Armor Smith, Hero Power, and get even more armor out of the future turns?
I think
you
he's
have a
debating,
Belcher to go through. Go ahead.
he's debating whether or not to play the Despite or the Armor Smith. Because he wants to contest the board quickly and then just like get it. So, you know, he only has to play Chargers. But yeah, Armor Smith's good because next turn you're going to be playing the Belcher. And it's going to be hard to deal with that Belcher without giving him like a ton of armor.
Yeah, does Shockey have the Iron Beaks here? I mean, I think I've seen them yesterday, so he definitely runs those. I mean, you couldn't possibly run some kind of hybrid Hunter deck without Iron Beaks. I think it's suicide, for the most part at least. Not the best of draws. Not the best of draws for Life Coach, but
I mean,
might come in
he's
handy
a pretty
later.
good
Right?
position. You just play the Belcher. He's scared of a silence. That's the only thing that really counters your Belcher. But if Jockey doesn't have the silence, like, how does he deal with this board? I don't think he can. So yeah.
Yeah, never trigger the trap, never give him an extra charge, and just wait this game out. There's no way you can fall behind on health for the time being.
This is rough for Jockey. You can proc the trap next turn if you want to and start clearing the board. But you don't do it until you can start making plays that benefit you. As opposed to, you know, just proccing it, giving an extra charge, taking away from your armor smiths.
I mean, if he finds a Doomsayer off of the Shredder, he could pull it off. Because you'd have to attack into the Belcher with the Shredder and with the Abusive Sergeant, then you pop the Slime with the 3-1, and if he doesn't have an Execute...
It's true.
That would help. Oh man, Shockey's just
going
doing
all
it.
in.
Flood the board and hope something sticks. It's like throwing spaghetti on the wall.
Right, throwing spaghetti on the what?
Throwing spaghetti on the wall and hope it sticks. You've never done that, have you? My childhood was full of amazing memories.
You're just throwing spaghetti on the ceiling.
Yeah, that's it, and hope it sticks.
Oh man,
not very dangerous, but it's fun. Pretty much what Shockey's doing here. So we'll see if Life Coach opts to develop the Death's Bite here. I'd imagine he will, right? I mean, it's kind of a time to trigger the trap, if ever.
I don't think you have to trigger the trap, but you can use the Death Bite right now and armor up.
Okay.
And then next turn you'll get the Whirlwind effect from both armor smiths. It'll be a good time. Yeah, and then Shockey will be upset.
That makes sense. I mean, your turn 7 is still pretty sweet anyway, because you can even re-equip the Death's Bite if you want.
Oh, he's proccing the trap. Interesting.
And here we go. Will he replay this? There's a good reason to. I mean, there's no why would you not at this point?
You just get so much armor for each attack that happens.
Yeah, you even initiate the trades. Not Bagel.
Bagel. Ooh, this draw is gonna be really important.
Let's see if Bagel draws.
Got
It
it.
does. Wow, crazy good. Iron Beak. Oh, hello.
Uh,
A little late to the party, mate,
I
but
think it's pretty late.
yeah. I mean, you can go for a Iron Beak Owl on the Belcher, Freezing Trap, and kill one of the Armor Smiths with the bow. And then quick shot the Belcher if you want. It's all kind of weird, but
I don't even know how you navigate this turn. Are
I mean,
you trying to
Iron
look for
Beak
the?
Owl, the Belcher, and kill with the Creeper, right?
You can Iron Beak Owl the 1/4 Armor Smith if you want. Oh,
I kind of like the whole Freezing Trap, the second Armor Smith plan.
yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
If he does this, he needs to
yeah,
attack.
you get a hero power
Go
too.
first. Yeah, you're right. This is good.
Shocky, suddenly confused. I was smorking. What's wrong? Oh wow, Nat Bagel is gonna get in for some action. Never thought I'd see that. All right, so that's a pretty good play here from Shocky. I'm liking this.
Remember the old Miracle Rogue days when they ran Pagel?
Yeah, and it was so
And
broken.
you could cold blood it. It was like
Yeah.
a combo. It was like a legit combo. So funny.
Nat Bagel early game into cold blood. You're like, really, really? This is happening to me. I've got nothing but a war axe. What do I do?
4/4 the draws. So much value.
At the end of the turn too.
Exactly. So I don't think you want to feed this bow anymore, or the bow anymore. Yeah, I think you want to get out the Death Bite. The question is, do you want to play the Pain?
I'd probably just play the pain here.
Yeah.
Because next turn you can. I mean, it's such a good situation for a life coach because his Death Bite will kill literally everything, and net him some armor on the back end. This is probably the only answer to a massive board like this in Control Warrior because unlike Patron, they don't run Whirlwinds anymore. Some older variants used to.
Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Do you just push it? Because I mean, it's not. It looks like a lot, but if you really think about it,
The Armor Smith becomes kind of scary. If you
Yeah.
kill the Armor Smith in one fell swoop, it's more damage, I think. Actually, yeah. With the kill command.
so you deal 5 to the Armor Smith, overkill by 1.
And go face.
But I think
and
it's
then-
still okay. I mean, could you ever quick shot the Armor Smith and trade a 1/1 into it?
Isn't that the same amount of damage? Or is it less?
You're not overkilling, but I mean you're losing the recurrent damage on the 1/1 that you think you were gonna lose anyway from the Death Bite.
It's true.
Well, Shocky smorks it. All right, let's do
Yeah,
it.
I don't mind
We've
this.
seen one Belcher, and he's gonna push for damage and hope it works out. In this case, unfortunately for him, Life Coach should be
He
able to
did a lot of
stabilize.
damage
That's
there.
a lot of burst.
So much damage there. He's wondering if he should attack in, based on if he draws another weapon, or if he needs the attack. It looks like he determines he needs the attack. This bash is going to be pretty big also. So, do you play the Cruel Taskmaster just for the armor that it gives? Or do you play
Sure.
the Sylvanas right now just for the armor it gives, and then armor up and then go face, and then next turn you have bash and Cruel Taskmaster?
I like the idea of Cruel Task.
Because Cruel Task
Because
would
it's gonna give
effectively
you one
give
extra
2 armor.
armor. Yeah,
Because it's an
exactly.
extra body on the board and the 1 damage. It's like
I mean, you could even play Sylvanas and Cruel Task. It's the same as getting armor up, basically, in this case. And
but
you're
it's
getting,
worse against Unleash, but there's no Unleash. I like Sylvanas because it fights for board against a Shredder. And then
Oh,
there's
man.
like almost no chance you die this turn, I think. I think there's no chance you die.
3, 4, 5. He needs to
Leroy
find
is
10
lethal?
damage.
Leroy's not lethal.
Leroy Arcane Golem would kill you, actually.
No, because you can't hear power.
No, but Leroy, that's 10, and you've got 3 from the bow. Oh, yeah, you're right. You can't hear
Yeah.
power. Never mind. That's not 5. What is math? I don't know what
is
math is. I don't play Patron. I don't do math.
Patron. So, this is Chalky's second time in a row. If he loses here, he's actually benched.
Yeah, and that's going to give Nihilum a good chance to isolate other decks because they're already up. If they win this, they're going to be up 3-1 with the edge on the benching rule, and that's going to give them the ability to just pilot every other deck almost optimally for the matchups.
Yeah.
And
God,
look at the amount of
Bash.
armor, man. Yeah, I think you might even bash your own Sylvanas, then Cruel Task her to take that Worgen just to spite Shocky.
Gosh. It's like,
Is that the play? Is that the
this
play?
is ridiculous. How is a
I
hunter
like,
supposed to win against Bash? Armor's cheating, man.
So first taunt is cheating, now armor is cheating. I think it's about time we get a card, and I mean that. Like, it's about time we get a card that does something to armor, though. I think we need some form of armor removal tool
I
in
can see
neutral.
that. They have
like a minion
they-
that removes armor or something, because
Yeah.
sometimes it gets a little out of hand, to
It
put
really
it mildly,
does.
right? Like 60 armor over 30 health, you're like, I didn't even play this game. Like, this guy just stacked up everything.
I mean, they have a hate card for demons, right?
Yeah, they
So
even
why
made
wouldn't-
that one to silence
Exactly.
demons. Right, good point.
So why wouldn't they have one for armor?
I mean, sure, the problem with that is that it seems like it's only affecting warriors. I mean, there's Ice Barrier that counts, and it's basically an anti-warrior card at that point. It's not even... Like, who do you give it to? Just hunters or neutrals? Right? Because, like, who cares about removing the armor?
Give it to
Most-
hunters. I don't know
Going
about
piercing
that.
shot, remove
Pierce-
all armor, deal
wow,
5
okay, that's-
damage.
See, that, you can even name it. That sounds awesome.
Let's do this. Imagine the hate Blizzard gets when they made that card, though. I can already see the uprising on Reddit.
Warriors at a pretty good position right now. Like the class itself. I think it deserves the hate.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree. They've got two really viable archetypes at the moment.
Bash. Bash is just like I'd be
Cheat,
so mad
it's
if
cheating,
I saw
man.
I'd
It's
be
it's such a cheat.
I know. I'd be so mad if I saw Bash against me when I'm playing Hunter. Like shield block, you're like, okay, like I can understand that. I anticipated the shield block. Then Bash comes out. Just like, why am I even playing this game?
Shield block, bash. Come on, life coach, you gotta show the bash. You can't not bash, if only for style points. Life coach is not too much about style, though. He's very much about optimized plays down to the very last one, no matter what. What I find fascinating is his ability to talk to himself for a long period of time and still stay sane.
Who said he's still sane?
That's right. Last time I was casting him, there was this mad scientist look about him. Like the hair and everything was.
Whoa, he's
completely
going. What is he doing? He's like going in. Oh, he's putting in like he's trying to lethal him.
Yeah, he's got lethal next turn.
That was an interesting play. Wow.
I like
He has
it.
I mean, he has lethal next turn anyways with the Cruel Taskmasters on board, right?
Right, exactly. Or just having the damage dealing. All right. Well, Life Coach picks up a win for his team, so the Warriors locked out. Life Coach doesn't quite get you know, the play again today because he's got his check mark, which is pretty sweet. RDU and Thice will have to get their wins on the back of this. Now, Forsenboys, I believe Shocky's benched, unless I'm mistaken. He just won twice in a row against Nihilum.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit rough. That's going to be a bit rough. Forsen, we know, has one deck left, and Oskaka, 2 decks left, and Oskaka has 1. So they're going to be carrying the team, basically.
Well, they're going to get targeted pretty hard. So Chalky's, I think, is benched. So Freeze Mage, Zoo, and Mech. And you have Druid, Mage, and Shaman.
All right, so what are you hoping for at this point? If you're
Maybe just get
Nihilum,
the
what are you targeting?
Shaman?
There's a Freeze Mage, right? What do you do about the Freeze Mage? You just queue Druid into it? But what if you face off against Zoo or the Shaman?
Zoo and
That's
Shaman
better.
are too good against Druid, I would feel like.
Yeah.
Everything's pretty good against Druid. They could just sweep Druid, honestly, but I would probably go for the Shaman or the Mage if I was on Nihilum.
So I guess the Mage is a coin flip against Forsen's Mage. Against Zoo, you have the edge, and against Mech Shaman, you can hold your own depending on how good your early game is. It's just that Mech Shaman can get crazy blowouts against Freeze Mage sometimes, right? Like, they don't let you secret up, and then the game is over.
I wouldn't be opposed to Freeze Mage, but Freeze Mage is pretty good against whatever Chalky has also, right? It's good against Base Hunter, Paladin. Maybe you just queue Mage and be happy with it.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, you're probably having like you have an edge over. It all depends on whether or not Thijs thinks he's got the edge in the mirror match, right? Like you're a very experienced freeze mage player, I think. Like I've seen you play a lot, and you seem to know your freeze mage. Thijs is another one of those players that I rate very highly on the freeze mage scale. Forsen's been playing the deck since the beginning of Hearthstone, I think, pretty much at this stage. So they're both, if they go up against each other, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting
good
battle.
match. We have Mage versus Shaman, and this is Mech Shaman, right?
Yeah, it is the Mech Shaman from Oskaka. We saw him pilot it. Oskaka has a very nice playstyle with Mech Shaman. He's much more conservative than myself, at the very least, and most players that I've seen play it. He goes all in much less frequently. He makes trades for much longer than I'd expect, and that's put him in a lot of better positions than I ever thought he could be in. So he's definitely a competent player of the class and the archetype.
A lot of this comes down to the very, very early draws, like usual, of course, because sometimes the Shaman can just like have a Whirling Zap-O-Matic, and the Mage doesn't have a Frostbolt, so you know you have no way to deal with that until you can like Fireball the Whirling Zap-O-Matic, and by that time you've taken so much damage. So it really comes down to the Shaman's early draws, and if they're running like Doomhammer for like the 16 damage throughout the game, things like that.
Yeah, and I think the Frostbolt is an auto keep just because Zap-O-Matic is such a big threat. Like there's no way you can afford not keeping it. And Oskaka's got an okay hand. I mean, there only is one drop in that deck at the moment, which is the Cogmaster, and you're pretty much, if you're first off the coin, you pretty much rely on it to get you started a little bit.
Yeah, I like that keep from Tice. It's exactly what I would have done. And there's the Doomhammer. That card is really, really important in this matchup. That represents 16 damage, at least, excluding the Rockbiters.
Yeah, we made a comparison yesterday about it. I was talking to RDU and I was like, this is basically like playing Doomhammer against Control Warrior. And he said, yeah, but now you don't even have Harrison Jones, so it's guaranteed to be 16 damage. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can't argue with the fact that card is just completely insane in the matchup.
Exactly.
Like, it counters the 2 ice barriers in a single card. Ugh, I hate this position. I mean, I guess you almost maybe you go for the Earth Shock and curve Power Mace next turn into turn 4 Mech.
That's what I'm thinking.
Or is that not worth it?
You could go with the Mech Warper and go face, but if he kills your Mech Warper with a ping, then you don't have another mech to combo your Cogmaster with, so it's kind of irrelevant. I think you might want to save the Earth Shock for maybe like a Doomsayer. Maybe that's what he's thinking, or maybe a Mad Scientist even. So I don't expect the Earth Shock. I'm just wondering if he's going to trade. Looks like he is going for the Earth Shock. Interesting.
So I have to assume it's either going to be a hope for 2-drop mech, which would put him pretty far ahead on board, or develop the Power Mace and set up a turn 4 play with his own mechs. That would be my expectation at this point. Cycle with Thalnos.
Yeah, I like it. You don't want a Frostbolt to 1-2. Even if it's a 3-2, you're more concerned about a Whirling Zap-O-Matic or something like that. Lava Burst.
Alright, so going... it's kind of going according to plan in a way.
Yeah,
he was
going
hoping
for Tice, though.
Yeah.
Face. Yeah. Playing off curve the last 2 turns doesn't feel very good.
That's a great card for Thijs to find.
Yeah, next turn he can play it. This turn not so much.
I mean, he's got answers to Zap-O-Matic no matter what, basically. Like, the only time where he doesn't kill it outright is when he's used up the Fireball and the Power Mace hits. On the Zap-O-Matic, for instance.
Yeah, this turn's interesting. I'm not sure if you would run in the Thalnos and just ping this turn. I don't really like
on the Mech Warper?
Yeah, the Frostbolt, I mean, you can do that. That's fine as well.
I can see what you mean, though, because committing the Frostbolt here means if something else comes up next turn, then you're forced to use premium removal or AoE removal on, like, very few targets, for instance.
Yeah, that's a lot of
wow. That's a lot of weapons to the face. The thing is, if you calculate all the damage he's got here, he's basically holding lethal just off of weapons and the Lava Burst. So all he has to do is hit face every turn.
That's 16, or that's 16 plus 12 plus
Lava Burst. Yeah, it's he just pushes.
It's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of turns too, which is the problem.
It's a lot of turns.
That's the biggest issue I think you're running into here is you have to push face every turn. But the interesting thing is the power maces, because they're going to be spaced out, will probably allow you to find a mech before you trigger the death rattle. So you should be able to find enough time to get something to use them on and benefit from the death rattle effect.
Is Ostkaka running Fell Reavers? Do you know?
I haven't seen them, though. I think there's Fire Guard Destroyers in there.
Ooh, those are pretty good.
Yeah.
So much burst. Like, do you have to go for the Doomhammer now? Like, attack in, play a Doomhammer, and attack into the Thalnos, and then go face? Just to develop it? You can start, like, Lava Bursting now if you want. Like, go for Totem and Lava Burst, but I don't know.
So if you Lava Burst this turn, then you're expecting to Power Mace again next turn, right? You're not putting out the Doomhammer, right?
I like the Doomhammer. And then
You
he
can
gets to
get one
attack
attack
again.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's gonna go face, yeah. Perfect.
This is devastating. Like the amount of damage Thijs is taking, and there's no board to respond to. That's the worst case scenario because you can't answer a board alright,
Exactly.
but you can't answer weapons unless you
Wait.
start freezing face every turn.
Wasn't somebody running double heal bot last night or something?
Yes, somebody was. I don't know what. I think that was Thijs with the
Was
double
that
heal
Thijs?
bot. I think so.
If it was, that's pretty good in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not even sure Thijs is running Pyroblast. Maybe that's the cut.
This is I would say Tice is really ahead right now.
I mean, maybe it was Firebat running the double heal bot. You make me second guess myself. Because I've seen so much Freeze Mage in ATLC, and it's been really
Exactly.
great, because I'm happy to see more Freeze Mage and less Tempo Mage. I find Freeze Mage to be one of the most interesting decks to pilot. I should stop saying pilot, I should say play instead. You know, it's just kind of an unnecessary synonym. I'm happy to see more Freeze Mage played, I guess. It's probably my favorite deck. That's competitive, of course.
Yeah. It's like playing solitaire. It's fun.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like you're playing against yourself and how well you're able to plan your turns.
Yeah,
and
it's a
I
lot
guess
of
sometimes
predicting.
you're playing against your secrets because they just don't want to come out on time, and then you're scrambling to get them out. So,
So Doomsayer here. Looks like he just wants board.
is he dead? No.
Is he dead? I don't think.
Well,
he
I mean,
gets- oh wait, Rockbiter maybe? How much is that?
Yeah, rock bottom weapon would be like lethal. I think that would be like way over lethal.
I think you need to just expend a Lava Burst now in case you draw into more burn. But you might want to be saving it for like post Alexstrasza or something like that.
And this Doomhammer is putting in a lot of work. You start being a bit
That's
worried at this point, don't you?
So goofy, yeah. And you need to draw into heal or you need to draw into Alex. I mean, Alex is kind of heal, but Alex to be aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Frostbolt Icelands. I mean, worst case scenario, Thijs can use those as...
Oh my goodness. He
well,
can
that's
pop
going to
the block
pop the first block.
At 1. You can pop the block at 1, right? Because you
Yeah.
Rockbiter in, you Lava Burst, and then you Crackle.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's popping it. And good luck, Thijs. You're going to have to start freezing face or hope nothing gets top deck ever again.
Well, if he is the one running double heal bot, the odds of him drawing into a heal bot or a barrier or even I guess barrier wouldn't save him.
Second
if he
ice
did
block
spell.
even.
Oh, yeah, second ice block are pretty high. Except he can't play Alexstrasza this turn, so it's actually really good for Ostkaka.
Yep, and you have one charge left on your Doomhammer to guarantee a kill if nothing gets picked up by Thijs.
But he can.
Based
he
on
can
the luck,
possible.
it's possible.
It's more Tice or Ostkaka has to top deck something. Oh my goodness! And there's the heal bot.
All right, Thijs is. You can see him sigh here, a breath of relief, or rather, fill up his cheeks with air in relief. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but it was definitely relief. I could see.
I guess you have to
Man.
draw here because you don't have enough You could freeze face for the next like 4 turns, or like not 4 turns, but you know, for 2 turns, and then maybe draw into another freeze. So like 3 turns to prevent.
Well, 4 turns sounds about right now.
Yeah, exactly.
With that ice lance.
You might be scared of dying. I guess. Yeah, it looks like he is. So he's just gonna freeze face for the next like 3 turns.
I mean, honestly, it buys him so much time. Unless
really
Osaka
does.
picks up an Earth Shock here to deny the draw. And even that's really weak, because what if he's already holding Alexstrasza? There's a lot of things that could go wrong from Osaka's perspective, so you don't really want to commit either way. And the fact that you're relying on weapons to get the lethal and your top deck spells, you're afraid that Thais just picks up some of his late game to stay alive, and then...
You're hoping for like, what, a Mana Tide here?
Yeah, probably. I'd assume Mana Tide. It was picked up yesterday, I think, by Osaka. That was definitely a good good totem to find. What are your thoughts on Tuskar Totemic, by the way?
I haven't played it enough to really develop anything too solid on it, but I think it's good. It seems like on average you get a pretty good totem, and I mean, if you're hero pairing most of the time anyways, a shaman, why not just like have a card that combines it? So I don't mind it. Obviously it's bad when you're behind on board, but you just have to curve your deck a little lower. Flame Strike. Looks like he's gonna draw here. I might draw first. I don't know, because he might freeze face, right?
Yeah, again, the same situation he was in earlier, but I would consider a Frost Nova to ping my Acolyte and then a freeze face, because the draw from the Acolyte is probably good enough.
If he's running double heal bot, yeah. But you're pushing a lot of damage by Flame Strike, or not a lot, but you're pushing a decent amount.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, because your unit's actually gonna go face. So he is setting up for lethal, kind of. Not this turn, but the turn after. Huh.
In a few turns, yeah. The Innovation is going to be... Like, you almost don't want to play it because the Acolyte gets the draw off of it. If it comes down to the fact that Osaka has to defend against minions from Thais, that's going to be pretty amusing. Turn of the tables.
Yeah, I actually really like the hold from the Inoyotron last turn from Osaka. Because it doesn't get flame strikes. The guy didn't get a free draw. Now I think he's going to be more inclined to play it, just because there's already a 1-1 on the board, and this will protect his 3-4. So I should see a Frost Nova here. Oh, there, he is running second heal bot. All right.
There we go.
No,
Thais,
he doesn't. Yeah.
This is safe.
Exactly. He doesn't have to freeze face every turn now, which is really nice. But he can freeze the board here. So like Healbot, trade in, Frost Nova, ping the 1-1.
So I have to ask, like, I haven't seen the second Ice Barrier, right? He's only played 1. Has he cut 1 for another Healbot? I'd be very surprised.
That's true.
Because that's the kind of one, like, it's a modification you could make. I mean, in one way, it makes your Mad Scientist more consistent in getting Ice Block in a weird way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it makes your Mad Scientist a little worse.
Overall,
but it
yeah.
guarantees you. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure. He might be running both. But then again, that might not be enough card draw to sustain. So
look at this damage, man. The heal bots are a lot of bursts. It's ridiculous to say so. It's like 6 damage out of your heal bots. He's winning because of those things. Little mechs just adding up. Heal bot, more like kill bot.
So he has to Lava Burst to stay alive, right? 6 on board, 6 plus 12 is a number that's dead.
Would you do it, though?
No. Because you don't win if you Lava Burst one of those regardless. So you just assume he doesn't have the double Fireball.
And that is going to be it. Thais is going to be able to seal the game, and that's going to give Nihilum a lead, 4-1 over Forsenboys. Osaka, if he plays again, could be benched and force into play.
Dang.
Not exactly something you want to be forced into.
Well, at that point, it doesn't really matter because they have to beat all decks with every other deck, so matchups wouldn't matter. it would be a little embarrassing, maybe.
Like the triple bench. You bench
Triple
Oskalka and then you bench Forsen at the end just to rub it in. We'll have to see if they're able to do it. I mean, Thais and RDU are lacking one deck each to win with for the check mark. Oskalka's got his Shaman deck to play, and Forsen has, you know, his
Zoo.
Warlock and Freeze Mage, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
What do you queue into this if you're Nihilum?
I would probably just go with the Shaman.
Okay.
And then just give Druid like so many opportunities. You might be expecting Forsen to play a Freeze Mage this one, because they'll be like, oh, like maybe they'll play Shaman, so we'll mind game them into playing the
Mage, yeah, because they don't want to get
yeah.
benched. So
Exactly.
you have to play into. So you play Druid then, right? I mean, that would
because
be
you might expect a
better
Freeze Mage, because the obvious thing is to play the Shaman. So it goes down to the little mind game thing. It's I don't know.
It's a
I'd probably
coin flip almost at
yeah.
this point. Like you're almost just coin flipping, sending whichever comes out. Because it's all about like the value of benching Oskalka is so small either way at this point. Because if you bench Oskalka with, say, like let's assume you go Shaman or Druid and you end up winning against Oskalka, then you still have to face off against Freeze Mage or Zoo with your Shaman if you're RDU. So I mean, I don't even know how you're supposed to win against a Zoo player as Mech Shaman unless you have a sicker start than they do, and good luck with that, right? So it's a coin flip at this rate.
I mean, Mech Shaman can beat Freeze Mage as well, so it's not like an auto loss. Maybe you're not comfortable with Mech Shaman against Zoo though.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's the big
the
drawback.
issue.
Is as soon as one of the players from Forsenboys ends up getting a win, then they unbench Shocky, which opens up a huge array of possibilities for deck choice. So Thais versus Forsen will have the Druid and Warlock matchup, one that is
Oh my
consistently considered awful for the Druid, but when you have a hand like this,
You just keep that hand, I think.
you don't move anything out of this. That's it. There's nothing to throw away.
Exactly. RNG has shined on you. Don't insult it by moving anything.
Oh, that's another improvement. So do you innervate the shade here just to get get it growing as soon as possible and then curve into growth?
Yeah, because your next turn is set anyways, and you might as well just get the shade out to deal with early threats or to start growing, something like that.
Yeah,
I would say at
Thais
least.
plays so much Druid. I'd be surprised if he didn't do it. It seems to me like a near guaranteed play. I guess the only argument is maybe next turn I'll want to Wild Growth, Innervate Wrath, but you can always Wrath and delay the Wild Growth by one turn
Exactly.
if everything comes to that.
It's just
And Forsen is mad at the rope. His face when Thais took his time. Alright, play the juggles.
Put this apple on your head.
So, do you delay... I mean, if I top pick a keeper, I'm playing Wild Growth. If I don't, I might consider Wrathing here. Oh.
just play that.
Yeah, never mind. Put a body on the board, maybe ramp if he doesn't want to trade. If he doesn't trade, then that's his loss.
And
'cause
yeah,
you're gonna
exactly.
play
Then you
far
get a
out.
Wild Growth and you get a Wrath. And there's no like real answer to it, I would say.
What could be played in Forsen's deck that would deal with this? I mean, there's not even a combination of... Like, there's no Dark Bomb, you know that for a fact, having seen his entire deck list. There's no, like, crazy direct damage. No amount of juggles will do this. Unless he goes, like, double Wisp into double one-drop, but that's not happening either.
Double Wisp into double one drop.
Oh, man, the double Wisp, double target dummy opener. So Thais doesn't play the Aspirant. Alright, so
See,
he
and
wants to
that's-
guarantee to keep the body.
That's what I was talking about. People value Wild Growth more than Aspirant most of the time. And next turn, he's setting up for next turn as well, because this turn he can end up going Wrath into Aspirant. Maybe Living Roots is better.
Then Wrath, probably,
But-
yeah. If you're looking to deal damage, but the 1/1s are so useful against a Zoo player sometimes. You might consider them.
Well, you're not doing it for the 1/1s, you're doing it for the 2 damage on
The
the
2
juggler.
damage, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and you might want the cycle on the Wrath, but you also might want the tempo from the 1 mana thing. It just depends, because at this point you're kind of out of steam already, and if you draw another Innervate or something, you're done. Can't come back because you don't have any damage. So it looks like he's going to opt to play the Living Roots, that way he has the option to cycle.
That's the big drawback of a ramp, like of any deck that runs ramp for Druid, which is basically all of them. Because once you've used up, if you get a really good ramp hand, if your follow-ups are terrible, like if you get just spells that do nothing, you're gonna do nothing with that hand.
Oh, PO.
Wow, Forsen's gonna use PO to guarantee a kill on the Aspirant because he doesn't want to see a 6 drop.
That hand's actually not terrible. You have double Void Caller into like Doomguard, so it's really hard for the Druid to deal with. It just depends what Ty's top
Wow.
into, and that's that's
That's pretty good.
you
I'd
can
say
get.
that's just about good. You saw 1 PO. So for the Warlock to kill this, he's gonna have to push a lot of abusives onto the board. And it's not looking super likely, all things considered.
Where shall I strike?
Get a big bear and push face. Forsen's in a really tricky spot here. He has to just develop the board and fall behind on tempo, giving his opponent the time to be proactive about removal.
Ty's just isn't gonna trade into that. There's no way.
Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
goodness. Thais
Shredder.
is getting the draws.
Shredder, Hero Power, the 1/1, and then go face more.
Yeah, another 10.
Looks like he
Unless you
wants
want to
to cycle
recycle this, find a swipe. Maybe find a
You
swipe.
don't. You don't need a swipe. Well, for later you do.
Yeah.
But you don't want to pop the Void Collar whenever you're ahead on board. It just seems.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
Give him a Mal'Ganis, lose the game. And this is a story of how Druid just loses. Alright, so Thais, I don't know if he was considering making a trade here with the 1/1, but the only thing that punishes this is like a defensive Argus, buffing 2 minions. So I think one of the best ways for Forsen to come back is if that Doomguard comes out and allows him to kill the Shredder, but unfortunately for him, it's going to be the Void Caller again.
No,
For
nothing
sure.
comes out. Is it?
Oh no, it's always a Void Caller, believe me.
It's always the Void.
It's never what Forsen wants. So is he just
Lethal?
dead? I think he's dead. Yeah, that's it. That's a good game.
That was.
That was quick.
Yeah, that was. Druid doing Druid things.
And it was the Void Caller. See, I told you. It's always a Void Caller.
Oh, going up 5-1. This is like just to get into the finals. Loser of this is eliminated. So.
Alright, so one thing to note here. Even if RDU had a 20% win rate against everything else from Forsenboys, he is likely to move on and seal the entire series for his team. And again, this would be a huge win for Nihilum, which have been on the worst roller coaster ride that the entire league has seen so far, going from probably an almost secured, guaranteed spot in the top 2, which was then stolen away from them when they lost with only 3 wins instead of 4, and then they went down the rankings to oblivion, and they're climbing back 1 win at a time. So if they win this match, they're going to move on to the live finale, and that's going to be for them kind of an awesome, I guess, finals to the streak to get that whole spot.
Sure. Getting there is like what everyone wants, obviously.
Yeah.
Get a chance to compete for 250,000 or your share of 250,000, which is.
It's gonna be still rough for one of the teams making it up there, since you got like a 25. It's almost like a 25% chance to not get anything, and then you go home with like a pair of kitchen knives. There's like absolutely nothing. There's not even a consolation prize, I think. I mean,
I
Brian
think
Kibble
I
and
think-
Value Town's getting something at the very least, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. He's already gotten. Yeah, he's gotten something.
Yeah, I think for him to be contested here, Shocky would have to get to the live finale, but the Master of Duels is already sealed, right?
Yeah,
Like the
Master Duels is
score
already
can't
tempered.
possibly. Got it,
Because it's from
gotcha.
phase 1, not from phase 2. So RDU is going to have to find a win with the Shaman. Tiebreaker doesn't matter at all. So I don't
Right.
think it matters what you send in at this point. You might want to do it for morale or something. Maybe send in your best matchup, which is Mage. I think it's
Is it-
Mage. Maybe Warlock is better. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Zoo is slightly better for the most part, just because if you deny the Shaman the board, then you can possibly just snowball out of it, because the Shaman has no Whiplash mechanic. There's no Lightning Storm in his deck, right? Like there's like 1% of the Shaman decks that run that. It's kind of non-existent.
Oh, man. Poor RDU's Gosu Gamer. When you go last, you just get the worst matchups, and your Gosu Gamer's just tanks. Because it's
You're
just not
right,
fair,
actually.
man.
Ghost 2 Gamers doesn't account for that awful
Yeah.
position in a team league where you're just forced to play the last match. So RDU
like-
picks up a pretty awful starting hand. The Archon's cute, but the rest is irrelevant.
Yeah, I think you need something more aggressive for RDU. You just mulligan everything. You need Whirling Mathematics, Mech Warpers, Cogmasters, things that do stuff early. I expect Forsen to keep maybe the Doomsayer and probably the Frostbolt And
Doomsayer's a pretty good keep, I think. If only because it's going to be able to, like, you can drop it on a very early board, and if the Shaman doesn't have Earth Shock or like a huge amount of investment on Burst to kill it, then very often you're just gonna go away with the board and it's never gonna come back. Oh, RDU picks up a nice curve here. That is insane. That is a
Wait,
really good. Sorry.
wasn't the other Mech Shaman playing that? Wasn't Osaka playing that?
Everybody's playing Tusker Totemic and Mech
Even
Shaman.
in Mech Shaman? That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's better in Mech Shaman than any other Shaman because it's the only consistent Shaman on the metagame.
Flame Tongue also.
That's
Jeez,
unusual.
It's the only consistent one.
Alright, so we'll see if the Doomsayer comes down here. I don't think so because you can just get a free kill with a ping, but Tuskar Totemic giving you a good totem like a Manatide. Now that would make some people salty. Hey, RDU keeps getting the good cards. What's... I didn't know Mech Shaman was a minion base deck.
That's so true. I don't know. I guess you have to play them. Like, what do you hope for?
Totem Golem,
maybe?
I'll take it. I mean, Manatide or Totem Golem. Like, pick one or the other. You got like a 25% chance to get a sick
Easy
outcome.
Totem Golem.
Flame
Even
Tongue's also
Flame
pretty
Tongue,
sweet.
Yeah,
That's a whiff. It's a bit of a whiff. I mean, it might come in handy at some point.
Well, the thing is, you're running Flame Tongue, so eventually it's going to get value regardless, just by it being there, which is good. And it makes sense to run Flame Tongue in this deck, just because you're running Totemics.
Yeah, Totemics actually maybe incentivize Mech Shamans to run Flame Tongues, because it was useless, since the deck was mostly about, oh my goodness, double Flame Tongue?
Do you just go for it? Oh, you're playing one? Okay. Yeah, exactly. This is good.
And what does Forsen do? I mean, he's 2 turns away from Blizzard here. He's gonna have to
Well, you can just Frost Nova, and the next turn you can Frost Nova Doomsayer. Or if you're not threatened, and you feel like you can just take another 8, you can just play the barrier.
Yeah.
Or the
Forsen's
block.
got way too many answers to this.
Oh,
like,
man.
there's...
He's got this. This is, Frost Nova Doomsayer into Blizzard into Flame Strike. There's just no way that RD is going to push damage to your board. He needs a weapon or something. I actually like him not committing anything here.
Yeah, he knows better.
Like,
unless he really wants to like go all in, knowing that if it doesn't work out, I mean, it's such a bad matchup in the first place. Maybe going all in is the only way, because you're so unlikely to get the lethal if you don't.
Maybe he'll top deck like Urshock into Lothar. I don't know.
The end is coming.
Yeah. He can clear this if he draws a Doomhammer or an Urshock or Hex. And
yeah, RDU probably knows this is not looking too good, and that must feel really good for Forsen, looking all those minions disappear into nowhere. Well, rest in peace. Forsen's got double secret set up, another 8 health, and lethal prevention, plus his Archmage and the Alexstrasza. I think he can just sit back and relax while RDU tries to scramble back in the game.
well, he can commit to board really hard here. Well, you can just play everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Shredder could give you something sick. Zapomatic's not out of the
Forsen's
question.
just in such a good position because he actually had stuff to do that turn after he cleared. Because after the Doomsayer, you usually want to like make sure you develop a minion or you at least do something. And he was able to get both secrets up, which is crazy.
Yeah, there was no threat at all. Like, sometimes when you get that board clear and you're at very low health, it's a problem, because you're trying to scramble for cards when you need to just get card draw and you don't have anything yet. But he already had his options in hand. So RDU's best hope is probably a Doomhammer into another Rockbiter top deck. And then hoping that he can push for a huge amount of burst that a mage can't prevent. But I wouldn't bet on it.
Blizzard Doomsayer into Alex seems pretty strong.
So I would have liked Blood Mage. Just for the card
Oh, really?
draw.
Oh, just to clear? I like Doomsayer a little bit more just because you're guaranteed a board clear unless he wants to commit 7 damage to that. And then you get an Alex on board and then he can't
Yeah,
commit.
I guess he can't even play minions after that point either, so... Well, RDU probably knows that the end is... Oh, well, hello.
That would have been good, yeah.
That would have been good a little earlier.
I'm not sure if there's much RDU can do right now. It just he's even running
He's running
Caliber.
both. That's weird. I mean, I haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah, his version seems like decent against Freeze Mage also. It just didn't draw Loath-up at the right time. Forsen didn't even draw that amazingly, honestly. He just had the Frost Novas.
All right, well,
take it.
Forsenboys is going to be able to get 5-2. It's a slow climb back, possibly, but we'll see. I mean, they've got the edge in that they can actually isolate the Shaman now if they want to get all the wins. But as you said, since everything has to go through the Shaman, might as well throw the worst matchups and hope it sticks.
Yeah, and
since
Chalky
the tiebreaker doesn't matter.
as well. I mean, he can throw in... I'm not sure what exactly is really that favored against Mech Shaman, though. You might want to just go for the Zoo, and then Hunter should even be fine against it, I think. So those are two good matchups already. And then you have to go for a mirror.
I think Zoo's fine, right? Because it is known as one of the better board control decks, and Shaman can't fight with it, so...
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, Forsenboys is just going to have to win every single thing against the Shaman. I'm curious. I don't know. It'd feel bad for RDU if he lost all of the matchups.
I think his Ghost of Gamers would never recover either. Like, not only would he never recover from it, but his rank might also tank.
How bad would that feel to like deny your team a chance to win 250,000 total prize pool, but
so
to win
close
money.
too, right? Like,
Exactly.
and this is again, if he loses everything, this will literally be the roller coaster. I mean, there's nothing worse than this. They are so close to getting through. Even with all bad matchups, the odds are in RDU's favor that he wins at least one game by snowballing out of control. You know, Mech Shaman is good at this, right? They will steal games from anything at some point, given enough rolls on the starting hands. So it's just it's a matter of seeing whether or not this can win. Shalky's going to go for his aggro pally against the Shaman. I like that. There's no board clear on RDU's side, so not necessarily a bad matchup. Oh my god.
Strider. Wow. That's a really good starting hand also from RDU.
Yeah, RDU's got the coin too, which gives him
Whoa. Jockey's hand is really good.
Both players' hands are amazing. I think the Inoyotron might be what breaks the deal. Oh man, this is such a painful start. So you have to sacrifice a Clockwork Gnome, basically.
You can just play Cogmaster here.
And then go Inoyotron, coin Clockwork.
I don't think you need to coin anything out right now.
So you want to coin the Shredder on turn 3?
Well, yeah, that's probably correct. I don't think you get anything from just coining out the Clockwork Gnome right now, though. If you play Cog, you could have coined an Inoyotron, I guess. That's not terrible. And the next turn, just play Cogmaster into Clockwork Gnome. That looks like what he's going to do.
Alright, so he's going to try to deny the Argent Squire. It's a really good deny. Shocky with a pretty good top deck to deny the deny.
I think you just play
later down the line. Yeah. It's the double Divine Shield versus a single Divine Shield. We all know who wins that
I need top deck Blood Knight. Easy game.
Oh man, RDU.
I don't know about that attack.
Wow.
Oh no, that's fine because he has muster for next turn. I'm sorry, that was good.
No, the attack's fine from Shocky's side because he can just use the weapon next turn to finish it off.
That draw is really good though. Dang. Turning up the heat.
Shocky's not going to be happy to see this, but then again, the Mech Warper is going to take either 2 damage or one of the Clockwork Gnomes dies. I expect the Clockwork Gnome to die, but if the Mech Warper doesn't die, which is unlikely to, then the Pilot of Shredder will come down next turn, and that's going to be a bit tough. It's a good thing that he's got the Iron Beak already.
Yeah, the owl will help, and he chose to attack into that.
Alright, that's interesting. So we'll see whether or not that pays off. The spare parts can't really be played if you develop the Shredder, so they're not going to have an immediate impact. Do you just push face and let the Paladin make the trades, or are you so afraid of Consecration that you can't do that.
I don't think you can play around Consecration at this point. You can trade one Clockwork Gnome and then go face with the rest.
Yeah, I think the debate is whether or not you attack with the last Clockwork. But since he's got 3 1/1s, you kind of have to.
I like it because it protects your Shredder a little bit more.
Rusty Horn's pretty sweet as well. That's going to give you...
Whoa.
Oh, that's going to hurt a little bit down the line.
Huh.
Such an awkward turn for Shocky. You want to get rid of that Shredder, but you really can't. Maybe you just kill the 2 1/1s and then
And
you
then
Blessing
Smork.
of Kings... Yeah, Blessing of Kings is one of your guys and just push.
I don't mind that at all. I think that's good. Next turn you can go Owl into Muster.
Yeah, I think it's curving pretty nicely. If you play it for curve here from Shocky, from Shocky's side, I think it's perhaps a bit better. But those spare parts could be really big deals. I mean, imagine an emergency coolant on that Blessing of Kings recruit. That would give RDU quite a bit of time, and that Shredder is just going to stay up.
Great. Oh.
Whoa! All right. I mean, he does have the edge over the long game, right?
Yeah, you might be scared of an Earth Shock as well, something like that.
I can see that.
And like those spare parts are actually gonna kind of hurt RDU just because of Divine Favor.
You have to dump them as soon as you can, but
Yeah, dumping taunts doesn't seem very advantageous.
so does he rock bite himself and kill a 5-1 and push face with a 2-2? Because the 2-2 represents 2 damage, but the rock biter represents potentially an extra 6 on a Doomhammer. Not that
think
you
you
can
have to
really
fight for
play
board.
around it.
I think you'll lose if you don't fight for board, so I like Rock Better.
What about
do
kill
take
the
a ton of
1-1?
damage.
What about kill the 1-1 with the 2-2 and Rusty
Just
Horn
sit.
your totem?
That's not bad either.
Because it tanks to 5 damage, like, forcefully, right? And then the Muster kills the 2-2, I guess. The Light's Justice does. Ugh. This is not where RD wanted to be at this stage of the game. Gotta make that trade. He's playing for value, and he's gonna taunt up the Cogmaster to make sure that a trade occurs between the 5-1 and the 1-2.
I mean, his board is gone.
Yeah, goodbye, board. You will be missed. Well, Lotheb's a bit tricky, but the Abusive can deal with her pretty nicely. With him, rather.
I think just playing the Owl right now, yeah. And then pushing the 5, or even killing the Totem is fine. And mustering. Seems solid. And I like RDU that he's dumping his hands because he's scared of
Divine Favor.
Divine Favor. Yeah, exactly. Whoa,
Oh
that's-
my god, that's a sick top deck for RDU. That's going to turn up the heat. Shocky gonna have to pick up an equality, and otherwise he doesn't play Aldor. We pretty much know that for a fact. So is this time to race? You're gonna find 3 cards off Divine Favor, so again, not too bad either.
Can you kill it? Wait, there's 5 on board.
You can kill it, but you're
if
gonna
he
have to
face
face
tanks
tank
it.
8. Yeah.
I wonder if that's right. Oh, he can just play everything and then Divine Favor and see what he
Yeah.
gets and base his attacks based on what he draws.
And I would be I want to shut my eyes when I play Fell Reaver, because looking at those cards disappear just hurts me inside. Oh, Rogue Batter gone. Doomhammer's still in.
Okay,
So-
you go face because you drew the Argus. I'm pretty sure.
So you kill a spell damage, not get blown out with like a double crackle turn, and then
And
you
you
just
know-
push for a
Yeah, you
lot.
know he runs Flame Tongue as well, so it's worth killing totems generally. Right now he's considering just making the 3 damage go into the 8/8, just because the abusive gets value that way, or if he
Yeah.
wants to go face with it.
But that Rusty Horn is going to be pretty annoying. The thing is, like, you don't expect you to have any more cards after next turn if you RDU, basically, right? It's almost... Wait, how much damage is that? So he's on 13 health. Lotheb, Rusty Horn.
What do
You
you
have to
Rusty Horn?
Rusty-
You Rusty Horn your Lotheb, right?
Probably because that Fell
8/8.
Reaver gives you lethal next turn if he doesn't taunt up.
Exactly. Doesn't give you...
Well,
yeah, it doesn't.
in theory, it should.
Yeah.
But Lotheb's going to fall down, and that's going to stop it.
That or an Argus.
Yeah, you already know Shocky's running Argus, but can you play around it? I mean, there's no way. There's too many mids on the board. Like, nothing you do will really change that.
He's gonna end up taunting the Lotheb, I think. Oh wow.
He's gonna push for it. Oh man.
Was he hoping to draw into next turn? He can't lethal him next turn if he tries to top deck something.
Well, wait.
Maybe if Lotheb lives.
The thing is, your minions have taunt by default, because they're gonna kill your opponent. That's how you kind of look at it if you're RDU, right?
Yeah, but you
By
can
doing
protect
this-
your Fel Reaver, because he can't clear both, but maybe he opts to just clear the Fel Reaver.
RDU
so
kills a
he's-
minion with this. All right. Let's see.
That actually was pretty good, I think.
So just trade into Lotheb, and well, you don't have to.
You
Like,
can
you just
have
push
Argus.
face and hero power defender.
I like Argus into Dude, and then just smork him, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to imagine RDU coming back from a board state like this. I mean, Earth Shock on the Shield mini boss is the best case scenario. Power Maze the other one down, and then you have lethal. Actually,
Yeah.
actually,
I mean, how are you going to deal with a shielded mini bot that's taunted?
yeah,
It's
you
just
absolutely need
really
Earth Shock.
difficult.
So this is it. This is the moment to see if RDU can top deck the Earth Shock. Because if he does, he wins this. Unless Lotheb is traded into by Shocky. But he has to face tank 5, which means he still wins. RDU with 1 top deck. And that is the Earth Shock. I don't think
not
I've seen
sure.
any get milled.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he runs Earthshock.
Well, if he doesn't, then that's GG.
Oh, this is a safe play, right? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, going this.
Alright, RDU with 1 top deck. If he runs Earth Shock, there's a chance he doesn't. He looked very sad when he saw the fact that his opponent taunted up.
I
Noyotron
don't think you can fit the Earthshock in this deck. You're running too much. Like, you're running double to Tuskar Totemic, you're running Fel Reavers. I just don't see how he would ever fit it in.
So you're gonna have to try. I mean, the Noyotron is tanking a bit of damage. The question is whether or not you're gonna be able to
I think the game's over, right?
Noyotron, even with the Rusty Horn.
Oh, with the Rusty
6.
Horn, you're right, actually. Oh, wow. I forgot about that Rusty Horn.
Yeah, so he's got to go through a total of 1 Divine Shield, so that's like, let's say 1 damage, and 8. So that's 1 damage plus 8 to go directly. That might be the card that does it. This might be the card that does it. Is it, though?
2.
I think he's 1 off.
That's 6. 6 there, that there. He's not more, he's a lot off, I think.
So, ping, South Sea. 1,
Just
2,
run
3. He's gonna be
everything
2
into the
off.
Fel
Yeah,
Reaver.
you're right. He's 2
Yeah.
off at the very best.
Play Lotheb and Hero Power, I guess.
Well, there's a chance that RDU can do it, because even if he picks up a Lava Burst and Lotheb comes down, he can still win this. RDU could take it. I haven't seen Lava Burst yet. Maybe he cut those. I didn't see them get milled. I saw the Crackles go, but...
I think he runs 1.
Doomhammer's out. Lava
There's
Burst.
Lava Burst.
Oh my god. Oh, the double Lava Burst.
He needs to play the other card, that way he mills more cards.
That's it. That is it, I think. RDU has no more win conditions.
He's
Maybe he
hurt.
wouldn't have been able to keep... Maybe there's like no way for him to keep a...
He has 1
a
card
deck.
left.
Okay, yeah, there was no way he was gonna end up with a deck, no matter what. He had to hope the last card was gonna be Lava Shock. What's left in his deck now? Another Rock Biter? I think I've seen that already.
Earthshock, he was running
Oh.
Earthshock. There you go.
He could have had it.
He could have won. He could have top decked into lethal.
He could have. It was possible. RDU is gonna go down again with a Shaman. And Forsenboys will be able to slowly creep back up to possibly equalize the series very soon. Again, they still have to win the entire thing, and RDU can probably maybe get a single win against the rest of the field.
Ah, man, that Shaman deck. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just
It's inconsistent. That's
50
what Shaman does, right?
if it's 50-50 against everything, there's a chance you're gonna lose. Like, you don't have very favorable matchups, I feel like, except for Druid, but they didn't bring Druid, did they?
It was actually pretty interesting because, like, with a 50% win rate against everything, before you look at your 5 matches, you're like, okay, surely I'm gonna win one of those, right? But then as you go into either of them, you feel like you're about to get crushed. Make Shaman against Hunter. How bad or good is it? I get the feeling Shaman has pretty good chance.
I think Hunter wins that matchup.
Might have
And I
the
think
edge.
I think Zoo wins the matchup as well.
I agree.
I think the Shaman versus Shaman is gonna, like, obviously it's not 100% win. It's just a little favored. Maybe 60%, maybe 65 or something. But so the Shaman can obviously win those matchups, but you know, you might as well send in the good matchups first and then go for the 50-50 with the Mech Shaman versus Mech Shaman.
I mean, a coin flip at worst against Osaka and bad matchups again. I think the Hunter versus Shaman isn't that polarized, is it? Because like from my perspective, if they both smork, which they often do, Shaman has spells that do more damage on average.
That's true.
But like if it comes down to that, but the thing is, their opponents have the inevitability, of course.
I think it's more that Hunter has. What does Hunter have? Hunter has.
Quick shot, kill command.
No, they have 2 drops. They have really important ones. They have creepers, they have jugglers, and they have mad scientists, which give them a ton of tempo. They also have decent early game weapons that can deal with stuff. Like imagine you drop a mad scientist and it trades with their cogmaster, then you get a freezing trap, then suddenly you get tempo on board.
Can they trade with
Unleash
cogmaster
stuff.
though? Because I think that's a mistake to trade as Mech Shaman against Hunter.
That's true, but I mean you could just run it in for yourself. You also run a lot more 1-drops if you're playing aggro Hunter. I think it's a little favored for Hunter. I'm not saying it's like, you know, crazy favored because obviously Shaman can get like a good curve and win. It looks like they're going to go for their Shaman versus Shaman matchup.
All right, if they feel that's the worst matchup, then they're just queuing in what they think could lose more often than not, or maybe they're just asking people to vote or to just raise their hand. If you're willing to go up against RDU, just raise your hand. They send someone. Osaka volunteers. And as a coin flip matchup, it can go either way. Both players are very proficient, and they run a pretty similar list where RDU, however, has the Fel Reaver, where Osaka doesn't. Alright, RDU with a decent curve, but the Anoyotron's there to contest, and the Zapomatic is on both sides. Start is not bad for RDU. The Cogmaster is really annoying. Whoever plays it first gets the edge, but the Anoyotron is also a good way to stop the Cogmaster from doing anything, really. RDU is stressed. He realizes everything is hinging on me right now. I am the team. I am the guy who can carry or lose this. Oh, Skaka with a double Zapomatic. Good thing there's a power maze for RDU. Good thing. Uh-oh. Alright, so...
This is weird.
This is a really weird situation for Osaka, because if you want to protect the Zapomatics, you're feeding him Anoyotrons consistently, so you have to pray that he doesn't have a Zapomatic to get, you know, double hits or power mace on the following turn to start removing your stuff. So I think RDU still has an edge here. Yeah, I think the edge is actually quite substantial, actually, like in this
it's the weapon, and going first with a curve is good. Very, very good. Because you're always a turn ahead, basically. And using the coin and aggro matchups and not gaining tempo, because this was just basically the contested board. He got a little tempo, but not very much. It was like really, really bad. He doesn't attack in.
Yeah, he wants to keep it with the weapon. Now, Skaka might feel comfortable enough to drop a Zapomatic, but with the Power Mace coming up, that's going to be a slight mistake, since it's actually not going to do anything. And in fact, it's going to leave RDU with 2 minions on the board. This line of play from RDU guaranteed that both his minions survived. Because if he attacked with a Cog Master, then attack with an Anoyotron into the Cog Master and play another Anoyotron. In this case, for Skaka, would have worked wonders if he had removal for the Zapomatic. So I really like RDU's line of play.
Yeah, that was good. It kind of stinks, the aggro versus aggro matchups, because you're kind of pigeonholed into playing these cards.
You mean on tempo, no matter what happens?
Well, like in aggro versus aggro, you kind of just play your lowest curve card most of the time, but there are little things you can do, like what Osaka just did, right? He attacked into the whirling Zapomatic with his thing. That gives you a little edge. There are little things you can do. But sometimes you get pigeonholed into playing bad cards or suboptimally just because you drew poorly.
Yeah, Osaka's play here was top-notch, right? Because he realizes if I play double Anoyotron, then I really can't kill the Zapomatic, unless I attack it first. Alright, so the question is, will RDU force his opponent to make the trade? Or will he make it himself? Like, is there a reason not to do that?
I mean, The only way he wouldn't trade is a misplay or a storm or something. So
Earth Shock perhaps would be an issue. Like you lose a minion for free, but you already lose a minion for free either way.
I like just trading. Like there's no point in waiting.
Yeah, you know he's gonna make the trade. You're just opening yourself up for potential bad outcome. All right, well, RDU with the Power Maze dropping on the Shredder if he wants it next turn. Possibly he's gonna be able to top deck another mech for the Mech Warper, depending on how things go. But it's looking like so far he's got the edge. But those Fire Guard Destroyers could come in and ruin his day.
Yeah, you don't really want to be using the Lightning Bolt here just because you need to be curving into the Fire Guards.
Right.
But there lies the issue. If he has another mech next turn, he's just going to attack in, and then he has like a huge board, and it's going to feel bad, man.
And this is actually the worst case scenario. RDU picks up a Crackle, or I mean, these two Crackles are amazing because the amount of damage they represent means you can actually go face without being worried of lacking burst. So RDU probably feels very good right now. Like this is a position where he's got to feel a bit more comfortable than he was at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
This could be it. I wonder how tense he is right now. I'd like to have his heart rate.
Yeah, you have to play Fire Guard. I agree. 5 attack, that's good enough.
You just smork it, right? Like
I think
that's it.
smoking is right. Yeah,
You
I
just-
think going
you just
face
shove
is
it.
fun. Mm-hmm.
You have the edge. I mean, you've got 9 damage on him right now. And look at the board. Because no player is playing Lightning Storm, like Oskaka playing from behind means that he's going to spend his attacks on killing smaller minions or equal size minions. And meanwhile, RDU just keeps putting down threats. And that's the weakness of aggro. Like, this is kind of why the Mech Shaman Mirror is so volatile. Because when you look at, say, Mirror Match Hunter, the Unleash is a good whiplash mechanic, right? Like in many cases, you can play Unleash to come back from a bad position, but from a Skaka's perspective, there's nothing to swing him back in the game.
Yeah.
That's a decent play from him, so you can just bolt the 3-2 if you want.
Yeah, that's actually not too terrible. That's a good play. You're right. You Mech Warper into Whirling and then just bolt. Try to force your opponent to trade. You could even play the Fire Guard Destroyer next turn. It's hard to come back from this position for sure. Party is going to have to get some pretty bad draws.
I mean, the thing is, if RDU decides to play defensively here, like if he doesn't pick up a weapon, he might not feel confident enough to push. Like if he picks up kind of an early game minion, oh, never mind, that's good enough. That is more.
He's
than
going to have
good
to kill the Whirling Zap-O-Matic. So do you crackle it? Yeah, and then just play those two and go face.
enough.
You might even feel inclined to protect his Archon.
Hey, you could kill that. There's no drawback to killing the Mech Warper and denying your opponent, because by playing defensively, I guess here what he's doing is he's playing like Zoo. And if you're getting the Zoo play over your Mirror Match Shaman, then I think you're winning. So, like, no matter which line of play he takes here, I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot. The only time where things like this backfire is when, like, Earth Shocks fall down with a weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
Yeah, you can't really get punished for trading too... Well, you can, but in this case, I don't think you can get punished for trading too much. So I don't mind it. Just playing it safe. You even get value from the healing totem.
Alright, nothing here. We'll go through this Anoyatron for a long time to come. Oskaka's looking like he's even further on the back foot, and RDU must be looking at this like it's already a victory. Might try the Tuskar Totemic and hope for a dream.
A bug. Just a Doomsayer totem.
Blizzard, what is this? Doomsayer totem. Oh, this is good. Imagine this, though. That'd be great. It's like the story of that guy who was playing a game with a Shredder on the board. The min a cut purse out of Shredder, and he got extra coins that won him the game. Like, he didn't know what was happening. He's like, what is this card? I don't even know what this is.
Actually happened to me the other day. I got a cut purse off like an effigy or something, and I had a Flame Waker on board. I attacked face, and I dropped another Flame Waker and Arcane Missile, and his whole board was cleared. He was so mad.
Poor guy.
Cut purse is sick.
It's a sick snowball potential card. I think it needs a little bit exploration. So RDU keeps punching face, finds another layer of taunts, and he's looking at lethal in the next few turns, if not next turn. So unless there's a miracle Tuskar Totemic into Stoneclaw, into double Stoneclaw here for
Into
Oscar.
double Stone Claw. Into somehow dealing with the board.
Paladin Shredder, and then you pop his Shredder. You Lava Burst his Shredder, Doomsayer comes out, you top deck Doomhammer into Rockbiter, RDU gets nothing but garbage. It's not completely over. There is some RNG in the game that exists that could swing this back in Osaka's favor, but it's not looking good. Picks up a Totem Golem. Alright, one of the better outcomes, but it's a bit too late, it feels.
Is that lethal on board? That's 6, 10, 11.
Missing 1.
It's off, off by 1.
So any top deck does it. He's seen 2 Cogmasters, which are basically the only dead draws at this stage that do no damage. Maybe one. The other Annoyotron also isn't lethal.
Oh.
Everything else kind of is. And RDU
he
is
seems
happy.
so happy. He was gonna win that anyways, I feel like. I don't know. I don't think that was a defining moment in the game.
Yeah, he's just happy that the pressure can be taken off of his shoulders. He's like, you know what, I'm done with this. Nihilum is moving on to the finals after the grueling series of matches they've had to play in the Archon Team League. So congratulations to them. Forsenboys, we will see you on the losing bench, I guess, alongside some of the other teams out there. So we're down to the top 4 at this stage. That was a really intense finish for Nihilum. Hopefully they'll do, for their sake, that they don't finish 4th place in the grand final. So based on this, we have Nihilum and Temple Storm moving on to the live finals. It's kind of interesting because Temple Storm beat Nihilum yesterday, but Nihilum still makes it after going through so many matches. I think they are the team that has had to play alongside Forsenboys the most matches in the league, and Forsenboys and them fought off at the very end there. Really intense. Wow, what a relief for them.
Yeah, I actually expected Forsenboys to be one of the teams that make it, just because they have individually pretty good players. Nihilum I expected to make it as well. I expected them to be top of the groups and get out. But, I mean, they made it through the Phase 2, which is good.
Yeah, it's always a little
series.
tricky, right? It was a bumpy road. Like getting to the finals for Nihilum was a bumpy road, but they finally got there. So this is the one and only match we had to cast today. It was a great one, man. That RDU relief, I guess, clapping of the hands at the end there. He seemed so happy. It's kind of rare that you see him being happy when he displays emotions on stream. So. Usually it's all the salt, right, that pours out. All right. Well, do you have any last words before we wrap this up, dog?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, so before we go, guys, a quick shout out to the partners. We've got alphadraft.com. Obviously, you want to check them out. Esports Fantasy League, alphadraft.com. They can match up to $250 of your deposit. Go ahead, dog. What?
Oh no, I was trying to point at it. It's really hard. It's like over there.
Oh yeah, it's kind of over there. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
So you can just check them out, get a share of the huge amount of money that they give out each week. And Amazon App Store also doing promotions, 50% discount on 40 card packs. Check them out on teamarchon.com/Amazon or amazon.com/Hearthstone. Also, huge thanks to Amaz for organizing the entire event. This has been really, I mean, the production value of this is, to me, pretty stellar. The matches are on point. The players are sick. Just organizing the whole thing has been really amazing. So I'm pretty happy to be a part of this. We'll be back with a live finals, which is going to happen a little later next month. It's going to be actually live from Texas. You're going to be there, dog, if I'm not mistaken. So we should see each other there, as I'll be casting some of the matches. So yeah, we'll meet live. What about that?
Oh, man,
so guys, thanks
dream.
for watching today. We'll see you next month. Have a nice one.